Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the Super Rugby Pacific 2026 final between the Hurricanes and the Chiefs, two sides that have not won a title in quite some time. The Wellington weather has done what Wellington weather sometimes does, and that is be extremely blustery. It looks like it's going to be a tough day at the office if you are either kicking or if you're trying to throw a line out, but they will be using their forwards up front, something that these two sides have done extremely well throughout the Super Rugby season, but it is quite the head-to-head. It's going to be a very entertaining game, seeing All Blacks versus All Blacks. And, of course, they're currently interviewing Dave Rennie. That man has some big decisions to make. He will be selecting his side on Monday, who he's going to be taking through the July Internationals. Looking through at the starting lineups, though. For a start, the Hurricanes, the home side, Xavier Numia, Safua Moa, and Basilio Tossi make up the front row. There is a high chance that we see all three of those men's names in Dave Rennie's All Black squad. Isaiah Walker-Leawiri as the number 4. He comes into the starting lineup rather than Delaney, who unfortunately did suffer the injury last week. Warner Durds, he's been a standout lock throughout Super Rugby Pacific. It's not going to be an easy day when it comes to the lineouts, but that man can still do a lot of work outside of that department as well. Scored himself a try last week. He does have just a very handy frame to be able to make the meters. Devon Flanders, Duplessis, Karefi, and Peter Lakai make up the midfield. So Brad Shields will be making his way off the bench alongside Braden Yosse. They are always blessed in terms of the amount of players that they've got available in the loose forwards. The Canes, Cam Roigard and Ruben Love as that 9 and 10 combination. Fihi Finianofo, he is still sitting on 16 tries. If he scores himself one in this contest, he will get himself the Super Rugby record for the most of the season. Now, out on the other wing, there is a man by the name of Josh Morby. He is currently sitting on 15, which means if he scores 2 and Fihi does not score in this game, Josh Morby would hold the record for most Super Rugby tries. So there'll be a little bit of friendly rivalry, I would think, between those two men. And it's going to be very intriguing to see whether or not, if there's a breakaway, I know that they wouldn't do it out of pure spite or anything like that, but will someone try and maybe hang on to the ball longer than they should have for the sake of an opportunity of scoring? That big try, looking at the midfield, it is Geordie Barrett alongside Billy Proctor. Then Callum Harkin, he will slot in again at number 15. He's done well there throughout the whole season. So we'll be probably not looking forward to the wind under the high ball for today, but they'll be up for the challenge. There for the Chiefs, it is Ollie Norris, Samasoni Taukiaho, and Sione Ahio. So the same front row as we did see in their last week's game up against the Crusaders. Taukiaho versus Amua is, of course, going to be an epic head-to-head. Both men are almost shoo-ins for the All Blacks squad. Taukiaho, pure power. But again, you don't want to have too many lineouts today, or else you're going to have a few not straight, a few issues there for both of these side. Josh Lord and Tupo Vai as the locking duo, both men deserving of their spot in the ABs. I would be very surprised if either of them missed out, and really the only reason that they would be due to injury. Summer Penny Finau at 6, Luke Jacobson, who's had a very good season as the number 7, also the captain of this side, and Simon Parker at 8. Cortez Ratama alongside Damian McKenzie as that 9 and 10 combination. They've got Kieran Tomoi Falau out on the left wing. He has been rapidly firing up when it comes to those try statistics over the last few weeks. Started the season without being in the starting side, but due to all of the injuries that the Chiefs were suffering, got himself that chance, signed from Moana Pacifica, and has certainly been quite the player out on the wing for this Chiefs side. Quinn Tupaia in the midfield. He was named Super Rugby Player of the Year, and for good reason. He's been absolutely phenomenal. They've actually just got the only Chiefs player to play over 1,000 minutes in 2026 with 1,033. And throughout those 1,033 minutes, he has been extremely influential for this Chiefs side. Kyle Brown is on the outside. That is due to the injury we saw of Lalakai Foketi. Leroy Carter out on the right wing, and Liam Coombs-Fabling at number 15. Isaac Hutchinson left out of the side due to his injury. Depending on how long-term it's going to be, depends on whether that guy has a chance. Mina Bolter for the ABs. Right, we have got a ton of messages that I will have to try my absolute best to get through. We've got Fitty who's going for the Chiefs. We've got Andrew going for the Chiefs. We've got Duncan says the heart says Chiefs, the brain says Canes in there as well. And we have got Hi from Matthias. Welcome in. Windy today. Yeah, the wind, it's always that little bit breezy in Wellington, don't get me wrong, but you can see out there at the moment it's going to be awkward. But then that's also going to test these players that little bit more. Adaptability going to be the key word of the day for this final. Whoever wins it, you would think would have to well and truly earn it. But yeah, Hopefully, no rain. That's the big one at the moment. As long as it stays dry out there on the field, that will give them a little bit more of a chance of a slightly freer flowing game. We've got Go the Hurricanes, says Jared. How's Hamish, says Anthony. Welcome in. And also come on the Hurricanes, says Paul. And nice tie. Looks like a well done half Windsor, well done, sir. It's actually the double Windsor for today. I decided I'd get a little bit more fancy. Plus the double Windsor, I like it better because it looks even rather than the half Windsor that looks like you're always leaning. We have got their greetings from Marania. Hamish says Gerard, welcome in. And what time is the box kicking off? Tonight, box will be kicking off at 1 a.m. New Zealand time or 3 p.m. South African time. We've actually got a big build-up for that one. We have got their, thanks for the live podcast, Hamish. Says Selena, no worries at all. And also not quite a hurricane, but very windy, says NZ. Riding up the hurricane, says Craig there. Tell you what, the chat is going at 1,000 miles an hour at the moment. Looking for Flash and Handsome, brother Hamish. I love both teams after useless chokes, says Paul. Well, that's the thing. This is a final where we either get to see a side get the title for the first time since 2016, or we get to see a side get the title for the first time since 2013. So it is pretty awesome, the fact that that is the reality of this matchup. There will be a new champion. The Crusaders, of course, have had it quite a bit recently. We've seen the Blues also win it more recently than these two sides. Who do you got? Well, the odds say that the Canes should get the job done. They've had a very impressive record at this stadium throughout this year. They haven't had too many games that have been played in this type of blustery win, but they've scored tries for fun. And we have seen the same from the Chiefs, really. So it is going to be a very entertaining one. I like your shirt. It's very 1960s. Says Jason, we have got there, but it's up the Chiefs, says Ryder. And all us Chiefs fans are nervous. I think the Canes fans are nervous too, because it's not very often the Hurricanes would come into a playoff rugby game as a favourite. Because normally what happens is they end up having to head to Canberra and take on the Brumbies, which is always going to be an upper hill battle at GIO Stadium. But this time they've actually had the home field advantage, and they have been using it to their advantage big time, beating the Blues last week, and then also having that playoff game where they dominated the Brumbies. And I mean dominated. That scoreline was not even close. But these are the previous results that we've seen for the qualifying final, 66 points to 12. That was the win in favour of the Hurricanes. Then from there, the Blues, they were defeated by the Crusaders in Christchurch, 52-31. And then the Chiefs getting the win over the Reds, 46 points to 24. We didn't really see any close games of the qualifying final, and everyone was excited to see the close games that are normally the case for the semi-finals when it's a New Zealand derby. The Chiefs versus Crusaders, that wasn't it, because it was 49-12 in favour of the Chiefs. They parked the bus in the second half. They had a huge lead going into that second half period, and they were just in control of that contest. As a whole for the Hurricanes, at times the Blues had a little bit of something about them, but a majority of the way it was all the Canes, and then they poured on that pressure in the second half to bring themselves out to a 57-21 victory over the Blues side. We have got there the Chiefs win 27 points to 24, or 27-20, I'd say, says Sammy. And I'm actually covering from the Blues, or sorry, from the Bulls' dismal performance. I got no skin in this game. Who's the favourite here watching live on Supersport? I listened to the live feed from you guys. Says, given so, favourite in this regard would be the Hurricanes. But the Chiefs, they have been so close so many times. They actually, for me, are the equivalent of the Bulls in terms of they've got to the final. They've had the opportunity to win it all, and then they just don't quite get over that last hurdle. But the good news is the side across from them today is not called the Crusaders, and they have been a thorn in the Chiefs' side for a little bit of time. They have a decent record up against the Hurricanes, although in terms of the head-to-head, we will be showing every single game that they've played of Super Rugby Pacific. I think the advantage normally does go to the home team, though, when the two sides play. Hi, I'm sure anyone, do you know about channel Box A versus Zimbabwe will be on outside of South Africa? Sadly not. I've actually got myself a SuperSport account with a VPN for how I'm going to be watching it for the game. But, yeah, very limited in terms of where you can actually watch it, which is a big shame because, yeah, it just seems to be because it's involving two African sides, they're only broadcasting it in Africa. But there's a lot of people who would like to watch that game, definitely when it comes to those future BOK options. And also just seeing Zimbabwe in action. Mafura, Mavesiri in the forward pack as well. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do from the number 8 jersey a little bit later on tonight. We have got there, we'll be doing some commentary on an Outback match sometime. Since Mike Grella thinks the Australia or Australia is good at it? Probably not. No. And we have a good morning. Hope you're well, says Daryl. And also, when is the game? Game will be kicking off in 15 minutes' time. So we are getting very close to the start of this one. Who is the most injured, says Wade. I think they're pretty even as a whole in terms of their injury counts, about 10 apiece is the way that it currently sits. I'll get you the exact number, though, while we're at it. So, injuries, and it's a long one, ladies and gents. So, Wallace Satiti for the Chiefs, Lalakai Faketi for the Chiefs as well, Ruben O'Neill, Tane Kolosi, Isaac Hutchinson, Moni Narawa, Atina Nana Saturo, Jaden Saar, and Daniel Rona. So, by my calculations, that is 9 injuries. For the Hurricanes, it is Jai Tamati, Brett Cameron, Riley Higgins, Drew Wild, Caleb Delaney, Tane Riori, and then also Will Cole and Josh Timu. So, they've got 8 injuries. So, relatively even. At the moment, we have got why is it showing 2 captains for the Hurricanes? Because they're co-captains. So they both have the captaincy in that department. They have been doing that all throughout the season, the Hurricanes. And we have got there, thanks. So I'm going to back the underdog. Sure, it will be a great spectacle, is no doubt, from our greatest rival nation. Well, that's the thing. These two sides have built quite the rivalry themselves, and the weather's going to be a really interesting factor for this game. I don't think we're going to see it being as free-flowing as both of these sides would like it to be. Last week, we saw the Chiefs absolutely dominate up against the Crusaders throughout that first half. We saw for the Hurricanes that they were probably, other than maybe 5 minutes of that game, they seemed like they were going to win it. So the reality of it is these two sides love scoring points, but they also will have to be very tactical with how they kick the ball out there today. Because the last thing you want to be doing is popping it dead or anything along those lines and giving your opposition a massive boost in terms of territory. We have got there 2 potential ABs 9 and 10 matchups. What a feast, says Gerald. Yeah, and the forwards as well in terms of Asafua Moa, Taukiaho, Tupo Vai. He's going to be really wanting to step up here because he's got Josh Lord alongside him, and those two are jockeying for their spot in the ABs lineup currently. The loose forwards, this is where we're going to see, I believe, people either making their claim for the All Blacks or missing out. Someone like a Duplessis Karefi, whereabouts is he in people's overall pecking order? A Luke Jacobson. I think that the biggest thing for Jacobson will just be avoid injury from this game because, when certain players, you just feel like they're going to get injured soon. I feel like Jacobson's that for me. I really hope he doesn't, but I know that it's normally about this time of the year that he picks up either a concussion or some sort of injury to himself, which then leaves him out of the contention for the AB. So I'm hoping by not selecting him on my side, same with Karefi, that those two men go 100% into the South African tour. We have got there, do you think it will be a high-scoring game? I hope so. But then I also want it to be close. Like, we're not hoping for some sort of 30 points to 10 or some sort of 42-12 or anything like that. I'd love to see it go down to the wire because if it doesn't, it would not look good. We've already seen a one-sided final this weekend in the URC. We've seen a one-sided game of the top 14. Toulouse winning that up against Racing like 71-17 or something like that. Hopefully we don't get a scoreline like that one. And we have got there to know that both Zimbabwe, Rhodesia, and Namibia were part of the Currie Cup competition for years. They also produced great Springboks, Jan Ellis from SWA and Ray Mort. Says Hnry. I know that the Currie Cup used to look very different to what it does now. I know that there was also a time where we got to see the Boks all taking part in the Currie Cup competition like week in, week out, but that has also changed. This loser spamming again, says Nazi. Well, that's how you know it's a big game. They normally don't show up for the rest of the year. It's only when they think that they'll be able to scam people in a final that they decide to finally do some work. But no, yeah, we're just going to keep on getting rid of them throughout the match. We have got there. Good morning, Mr. Kiwi. How are you, sir? Why did the Canes have 2 captains? Co-captaincy. It's not a new concept. It's something that a lot of sides have done. We've even seen it done at international level. So, yeah, Duplessis Karefi and Geordie Barrett, they've been co-captaining all throughout this season. So they weren't going to change it up for the final. It means that you do have 2 options in terms of, decision-making. Sometimes they don't agree, but then that's also something that has to be worked out on the field. Luke Jacobson might score first try, and howdy, Hamish, and everyone says stud trades. Welcome in. Hope you are doing extremely well. We have I disagree with the Currie Cup, says Kiwi Rob. Or you disagree? What do you mean you disagree with the Currie Cup? Like, you don't like the competition, or you, like, what? Oh, we have there. Trust me, bots are coming. So, yeah, it's just better than UNZ. Yeah. Yeah, there will be a few throughout this matchup, I would think. We have got the Hurricanes by a few for me. I reckon they too good. Sears starts racing. What we're going to quickly do as well, before we get into the kickoff, we are going to look through at the recent form for these two sides, starting with the home side, the Canes. We have got all of their games since May. They were able to beat the Crusaders, beat Moana, beat the Blues, beat the Highlanders, lost to the Crusaders, although that was a very different looking lineup compared to what we've seen for their other games. But 6 of their last 7 have been victories, and a majority of those times when they do win, they get over the 40 points. The only exception to that was their game up against the Crusaders both times, but in that first one, still managing to get the 38 points. The Chiefs, looking through at what their form has looked like, they were able to beat the Reds, they beat the Highlanders, they lost to the Crusaders, so something that was very similar to the Hurricanes in that department when heading to Christchurch, but they were able to beat the Crusaders in the semi-final, winning at 49 points to 12, and then also alongside that, getting 2 good wins over the Blues and the Reds. That Blues one was a high-scoring one, 59-34. Hopefully, a mid-20s would be nice here rather than a game where we get to see over 80 points in total. Simon Parker better get a try. Says Tyrone there. And we have also got there, Go Chiefs Go. And the All Whites showed up at San Diego to support Shane Van Gisbergen at this weekend's NASCAR race, says Kiwi Gamer. I see that TJ is playing today, my favourite 9, honestly. Yep, he's in the Bar sides, captaining that team. A few other All Blacks in the equation as well. So, yeah, it'll be a very intriguing game. That one's going to be kicking off at 1 a.m. New Zealand time for anyone who is going to be watching for that one. But 1 versus 2 in terms of the rankings. 1 second, we'll go like that. Like that. How? What do you mean how? Unless maybe you've clicked into too early. I love you, Hamish, says Matthias, and appreciate your URC finals coverage, says Stuart. Yeah, I just hoped it was a little bit closer, really. That was the one downside of it. We have got there, Luke Jacobson better get a try. Looking through at these starting lineups, they haven't made any late changes, at least on the Hurricane side of things, which is ideal. Looking at the 4-pack, though, Xavier Numia, Safwa Moa, and Basilio Tosi. Like I said at the start, probably 3 men who will be in the equation of making it into the All Black squad as Iwaka Leawiri and Warner Durns as the locking duo, with Devon Flanders, Duplessis Karefi, and Peter Larkai slotting in as the number 8. Cam Roygaard and Ruben Love. This is the 9-10 combination for this Hurricane side. Roygaard's been very strong when it comes to the attack. And also Ruben Love, there's still a lot of question marks around him, but him versus McKenzie here is going to be a massive opportunity to show exactly what he can do. We have got there how many counts does the one guy have who's spamming the chats. It's pretty much just a bot. So what it does is they've got a thingy that they can just keep on having random accounts created. But it's not actually a real person, other than maybe way down the line, it's like a guy sitting in a basement somewhere. But outside of that, it's just like a bot. So they just disappear. We have got there their bot accounts, and it's pretty easy actually. Says just better than you. And also 44 points to 40, says Shane. And also, I'm a Chiefs man, but the Hurricanes will be hard to beat. Home advantage, says Mike. We have got their Hurricanes to win 48 points to 31, says Mr. Justin Harris. Looking through at the starting lineup, although actually we'll do the rest of the backs first. For the Canes, for Hifiri Arnolfo out on the left wing. He's got a chance to make history. He scores once in this game. He will be the most decorated try scorer for a season of Super Rugby Pacific. In the midfield, Geordie Barrett and Billy Proctor. Out on the other wing, Josh Morby. He needs 2 tries to also take that consideration. And then Callum Harkin, he slots in as number 15 for the Chiefs. Ollie Norris, Samasoni Taukiaho, and Sione Ahio as the front row. Josh Lord and Tupo Vai have been strong throughout the season. They're just showing there 62 kilometers an hour is pretty massive in terms of the win factor. And we have their Chiefs Mana says Mark, and also the Chiefs 19 to 12. Looking through at the loose forward trio, Simon Penifina, Luke Jacobson, Simon Parker as that loose forward trio. Cortez Ratama and Damian McKenzie. This is one of those cases where we're seeing one side of the equation is potentially an All Blacks pairing, and the other side also in that equation. Damian McKenzie, a lot of weight on his shoulders, kicked well last week. Ruben Love, he had a bit of a shakier day after kicking tee last weekend, but he had a very strong day the week prior. But now Kieran Tomei-Falau out on the left wing. Quinn Tupai and Kyle Brown make up the midfield. Then Leroy Carter out on the other wing and Liam Coons-Fabling as that number 15. Hi, bro. I love the shirt and tie. Thank you very much. Yeah, I decided since it was a big match that I should probably slightly dress up. But I can tell you right now, after this game is finished, I'm going straight back to a hoodie because it's not very warm. We have got there watching from Thailand, says Jasmine there. Hurricanes 28 to the 34. Morning from an unusually sunny Liverpool. Hoping the Canes come through. The Chiefs are like a frantic Will Ferrell trying to give up more cowbell. And 34 points to 22. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of kind of mid-30s, mid-20s kind of score lines at the moment, which I think is a good thing. It means that hopefully we are going to get a relatively competitive game. Hopefully this is a better game than the URC final. Says Matsutendai. Yeah, that URC final had 26 handling errors total, I believe was the statistic. So I'm hoping for much less than that. And this game watching from Brisbane. Says Miami Blue there, but Duplessis Karefi and Geordie Barrett, the two co-captains of this Hurricane side. Their last title was way back about a decade ago. And we have got their Chiefs all the way here. Says Ian Murray and watching from Vienna. Says Matthias, but so many key factors of this Hurricane side. Last year's Super Rugby Pacific final bolstered 17 All Blacks into the July internationals. I think we're going to see about that same amount here today. The question is, who of the guys on the fringe are going to step up, give Dave Rennie something to talk about, and potentially write your name on paper getting into the All Black squad 2 days away? Naholo says Ruslov, he's going to be making his way off the bench in this contest alongside Johnny Rover and Iritara Hnry. And that number 21 jersey off the bench for the Chiefs, they have got Josh Jacob. Xavier Rowe, who's been really strong and potentially could have been a bolter for the All Blacks had he not been going overseas. Watching from the Gold Coast. But Willie all day up the cane, says Hemi. And Simon Parker better get a good try, says Kian. And there too. But the biggest factor here, of course, don't get me wrong, you want to win that title. That's your first and foremost. But for these guys, no injuries. We don't want to see 4 or 5 guys going down, or else then that once again completely changes the look of this All Black squad. Chief Stop says Kian, as a player from Fiji, ever won the Super Rugby? Yeah. Quite a few, because we've seen at the Crusaders the likes of a Manasa Mataeli. We've seen, who else have the Crusaders have throughout their time? Sever Reese, in terms of like, oh, sorry, he has a team from Fiji rather than a player. No, they've only been in it for like 3 years, 4 years maybe. So they haven't had a lot of chance to be able to do so. Damien McKenzie, 150 matches. He brought up his 50th win at home, also his 100th win in total on his 150th match. What happened to the Crusaders? Your thoughts? They had a bad day. They did very well in their their playoff final. They had extremely good form heading into those matches after beating multiple New Zealand sides. They had an off day up against the Chiefs. They didn't look like they had any sort of momentum like they had prior to that game. And, you know, it happens. At the end of the day, sometimes you just don't play your best game, which is, of course, what both of these sides are hoping will not be the case here. We must shut down the scrum, break down to nullify Royard and Love in there too. We got the New Zealand national anthem as well before this match does get underway. Good morning from a cold and sunny Johannesburg. Hamish, welcome in, Rishi. You are doing well. Do you think Artie Savia would even play in the URC? Probably not. Maybe on a sabbatical, but I think he'd be much more likely to go back to Japan on a sabbatical than heading up to Europe. We have recently seen someone get themselves a URC title out of that All Blacks environment. Rico Ioane involved, getting a try in that final up against the Bulls. He had a very solid game, and, you know, Rennie always said he's basing his selection off form. Ioane's he's in pretty good form at the moment here. We have got Hammy, says Jared, and also we have got there Damien will score the first try for the Chiefs, says Kian. I see you're wearing your big digs for today's grand occasion, says Kevin. And also we have got there, no need, but I will perks of free speech, says just better than you. What are we going on about now? Are we already having arguments in the chat before the game's even got underway? We have got there Fiji made the 6 once as what is their high level, says just better. It's probably pretty decent, though. You consider how long it took for certain sides to be able to get to the top 6. The Melbourne Rebels, they only made the top 8 on their last season. And then after that, of course, they are now no longer a thing. We have got there, now that the URC is over, can Rico be picked for the All Blacks? Yes, he can. I do think that he is in that scenario, though, where Rennie may not want to rush him back in. Don't get me wrong, he might be in the environment, but I don't think you're going to be playing him throughout July, just because that would be a lot of work rate. He's played in a lot of games recently too. We've got to remember Leinster have been very successful up north. They made it through to the Bordeaux final of the Champions Cup. So that's an extra 2 games more than we're seeing for likes of the Bulls and whatnot. So yeah, you don't want to be throwing him too deep in the injury department just because he could get injured throughout July. Are we over there, Blackjack, for AB's games, bro? Says Daisy, I'll probably need it. It's like 3 degrees here. But now Nick Berry, ready to referee this final. Of course, they talk about the pressure of the players, but there is a lot of pressure on a referee as well. Leinster were really awesome last night. 10 wins and counting, says Rishi. And we have got the donation. What's the weather like in Wellington? Love your commentary. Keep it up, mate. So, factors are a little bit of a shower maybe throughout this game, but the wind is blowing at 62 kilometers an hour. There is rubbish that keeps on getting blustered across the field. So it's not an easy day for the lineouts, and it's not an easy day kicking-wise, which means we may actually see sides decide against going for 3-pointers here and look towards the corner, try and go aggressive. And, yeah, it could be a very tactical type of game we see played throughout these two sides. But we are just about ready to go. Anyone who hasn't already, be sure to get your predictions in. Who is winning the Super Rugby Pacific final? Will it be the Chiefs or will it be the Hurricanes? Ruben Love kicking this one off from left to right. And, that one looked like it was slightly swirling towards the sideline for a second, but the Chiefs have claimed it inside of their 22. Simon Parker, he is a man that's been talked about a little bit throughout the last couple of weeks. Same with a lot of those loose forwards in terms of who will actually be the ones making it into Rennie's team. McKenzie with the clearing kick from inside of his 22. And now gives us the first look at a line out here. I can tell you right now that neither Amua or Samisoni Tokiaho will be at all excited for the weather that they're going to have to deal with here, trying to throw this one in straight. 27-17 for the Chiefs all the way. Now ready for the line out here, Asafo Amua. He's got a great jumping option, though, in terms of Warner Derns. Just taking a few extra seconds to get composed for this one. Nicely taken at the front by Devon Flanders and the Hurricanes. Oh, no. In fact, it's going to pop out on the side of the Chiefs. I think it was competitive in the air. They managed to get themselves the steal. Duplessis Karefi looking to take that ball straight back, but it is in the hands of the Chiefs at the moment. Rolling this one back, it is Cortez Ratama. And the chance. Charge down Warner Derns. He actually did that last week as well, but he's knocked the ball on in the process. Picked up by Kieran Tomai Falau. Inside of the 22 at the moment with the knock-on advantage for the Chiefs. Ollie Norris on away to the left-hand side. Goodbye, Numia. It's Winter. What do you expect? Says Justin there. And also we have got there Chiefs trickle, says Kiana. It's a nice kick towards the sideline. Warner Derns getting in the action early. Almost got smacked in the face with that ball. There's a bit of a Hurricanes chant going around the crowd. It was sold out very quickly. And even with the weather, the way that it is, it still seems like it's relatively packed. Luke Jacobson and Simon Parker better get a try, says Tyrone. A lot of pressure on that loose forward trio in that case. Now another line out here for the Hurricanes. Asafo Amua. They went to the front last time to try and avoid. That's a hard throw to get right, but he's done well and more. No one threw anyone up. And Isaiah Walker-Leaweri managed to take it nicely. Now Peter Larkai. Way to the right-hand side. Oh, wow. Roygard, he's tried to pass that ball and it's gone straight into the wind and completely died in its tracks. It's back in the hands of the Chiefs. It was a weird-looking pass, ladies and gents, and something that we're probably going to see quite a bit of throughout this game. The ball looking at all sorts of different angles, trying to stop in its tracks back into the pocket. Nicely done by Ratama. Now McKenzie goes for a kick. That's gone 15 metres backwards almost, but it has bounced forward, and Ratama takes it as he's taken in the air. Now back across Leroy Carter, knock on from McKenzie. It'll be a scrum feed for the Hurricanes. This wind is going to make this game extremely difficult for the two sides, and I think that's something that has just become a reality. Cam Roygard looked to get a pass going. He had a bit of a bluster of the wind, though, and McKenzie decided to go for the up and under. That just lost meters in the end. Seems like the wind's more so coming from the back of the Canes for this half, I think. This wind is causing all sorts of trouble, says Kevin. It's also probably a bit swirling, actually, to be fair as well. And Mackenzie, bro, says just better. And also, we have got there who's going to win. The Chiefs, says Kian. And Josh Law get a try. I think that the Canes have got a pretty decent shot here of being able to get themselves the title. In fact, I think this is the best opportunity that both sides have had to get a Super Rugby title in quite some time. And I know that the Chiefs have been in a few finals recently. Looking for a Chiefs win sporting from Tenerife in Spain. There's Martin being told to use it there for Cam Royer. Goes across to Geordie Barrett. Nice wide pass with a bit of power on it to try and get it out to Morby as they move into the 22 now. Roygard back across to the left-hand side, finds the hands of Peter Larkey, tackled by his opposite number, Parker. Does eventually wrestle him down. Roygard across again to Warner Durns. Jacobson, though, manages to get the clean steal in the breakdown for the Chiefs. Well, currently inside of their 22, Liam Coombs-Fadling goes across to Damian McKenzie, partially charged down. Brilliant work from Geordie Barrett, and the ball pops into the hands of Fihi Norfolk. Now, Roygard, cross to the right side. Walker Leowiri met with a big shot from Summer Penny Fee now. Now, Larkey pick and go 10 metres out from the opposition line. Roygard looking off to the left-hand side, which does seem to be the easier one to pass on at the moment. Now, Devon Flanders to Liam Coombs-Fadling. Needs to make the tackle on him. Now, a little bit closer for Numia. Safwa Moore pops the ball up to Dossie. It'll be 1 metre out from the try line. All coming through the middle of the breakdown, and the penalty awarded against Luke Jacobson. Just got himself offside. Oh, no, it wasn't actually him. Referee said it was actually a couple of the other defenders. Cam Roygard, they're keeping a close eye on him after what he did last week up against the Blues. About 5 minutes in, they've said here that it could be considered as a kickable 3. But I don't know if anything is really fully kickable today with the way that the wind is playing. And D-Mac, what's wrong? Says, just me. We'll be able to cover the All Black squad announcement. I believe we will be doing it on the channel, probably some sort of live stream along the way. And then a video after. They've called for the scrum here, the Hurricanes. Now, that just shows you a little bit of the factor of the wind, because normally this close to the post, you'd say, okay, we'll give it to Cam, or sorry, not to Cam, to Ruben Love. Slots it over, 3 points in the lead. But much safer to keep this ball on the ground, playing it in the forwards. And that wind is crazy. Yeah, that pass of Roygard that just got completely taken away from the forwards was a very interesting one to watch. For 928 kgs at the moment for the Hurricanes compared to the 924 of the Chiefs. Roygard goes across there. First receiver, Geordie Barrett, offloads to Proctor, who almost got his knee bent in the wrong direction. You don't want that. Definitely not with the injury of Whainanuku. That's going to leave him out for a while. Now close to the try line. Ruben Love waiting for this ball on the right. Roygard fires it out wide. Josh Morby takes it well, and he finishes it off too. Morby gets in the final, and he has now got 16 tries for this season as well. Is his name on Dave Rennie's All Blacks team sheet, because it's certainly now in the history books. He needs one more, and he would be the highest scoring player in terms of tries for a Super Rugby season now. But the power of Morby on the short side just bulldozes his way over. You see it there, the pass on the outside and finishing it off as well. Nicely done by Josh Morby there. Just stepping around Liam Coombs-Fadling too. Alec Jacobson take the ball, says Gianni. Did try to, but side did get penalised for offside. We see here the classic, having a player lying down, holding the ball on the kicking tee for his teammate. And he's going to have to release this at the very last moment. Josh Morby, 40 metres out. This kick, I believe, is going to be into the wind as well a little bit. Oh, Ruben Love brings it round. It hits the post. And that is going to keep the score at 5-0 in favour of the Hurricanes. Now, what team does Jacob Ratamaitafuki Nipkins play for? Highlanders as his team. But great finish from Morby. He slams it over the try line we have got there for Fudge Cake starting. It's like my Patriots in the Super Bowl. That one, it'll be too much of a kick there from McKenzie. Kicks it long. So because it was grounded immediately inside of the in-goal area, it goes back. Wait, that's a scrum to the... That's an interesting one because the ball bounced about 15 times before it rolled into the in-goal area and was grounded. So I guess you don't really see that, to be fair. It's normally something very different. We have got there, it's called the Captain for a reason with the win. Do you think it's going to be one-sided as the URC final? Probably not. I think it will be a little bit closer between these two sides. I'm hoping for something split by less than 10. That would be ideal in this scenario, but it's very hard to tell at this point in time. Definitely with the win factor. On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is the win that side? I'd say probably about an 8 or a 9 at the moment. It's one of the more windy games we have actually seen throughout Super Rugby in quite some time. Geordie Barrett, he loves throwing wide cutout passes, though. Finds the hands of Morby again. Tackled low by Kieran Tomai-Falau. Now Roy Gard back across. Peter Larkine moves it on to Ruben Love. Finds the hands of Barrett, who breaks the line. Goes straight through Geordie Barrett. Passes on the outside to Karefi, who's ankle tapped by Tupoia. Pops it up to Fihifnia Norfo. The Chiefs under pressure. This is kind of similar to what they did to the Crusaders just last week. The corner flag is holding on by a thread at the moment as it is lying pretty much completely down. It's taken a nap, but that was a very nice play in the breakdown from Finau. And manages to win the penalty for his Chiefs side. We have got there Hurricanes forever, says Tahuroa. And Damien get a try, says Kian. Now he's got the option of being able to kick this one towards touch for Damien McKenzie. 10 minutes into this final already. Apparently the early lead with the Canes. Give me lads, who you going for? Well, I don't really have a horse in this race because I normally don't have a horse in any Super Rugby game anyway, but McKenzie has not found touch. The wind has given him all sorts of grief at the moment. Another mistake from McKenzie. I can tell you right now, the McKenzie haters are licking their chops at the moment, thinking about what comments they'll put on social media later. Give them a bit of fulfillment, but currently on the halfway line, Xavier Numia. Still going forward, currently for the Canes, about 45 metres out. Cam Roygard going back across to the right-hand side. Peter Larkai and the Chiefs forever. And there as well. And thank you for pronouncing my Ngoa. Have I mispronounced that though? For Tahuroa. Well, that's going to be a knock-on from the Canes now. So another scrum. This time it will be the feed of the Chiefs. Live in Samoa, but the Canes, live in Samoa, but the Canes are the best. This is their year, says Peter, and they are just showing those corner flags again. I've said there that there is no rain, but it is just extremely blustery out there on the field currently. We have got there over 300 Muppets watching. They haven't voted, says Franklin. Although if you don't have a YouTube account, you can't vote. So that's probably more so the factor there. And we have got there Apadimac on 15, get an alternative 10. Says just me. Although it is a bit early, I would think, for any sort of significant change. Because, of course, they have got Josh Jacob off the bench, but I don't think that Liam Coons-Fabling has done anything terrible other than missing a tackle on Morby. So it'd be pretty hard done by to take him out of a side after 12 minutes. And this contest now going away to the left-hand side. Quintal Pyer, tackle on him round the halfway line, has played over 1,000 minutes for the Chiefs. Big run from Finau. There's a turn of pace from the blindside flagger, but he's just linked up with Larkai. Now, if this was the All Blacks, that's an ideal scenario. But unfortunately, in this scenario, Larkai on the other team. We have got there, I like the man stream, Williams says Joseph. Now, ball is in the hands of the Canes from inside of the 22. Hurricanes won't win, says Kian. Now, kicking and decent distance, really, for Roy Gard. Bit of a bouncing ball in an awkward manner, but McKenzie picks it up, goes short side to Tomoi Falau. He's reached 9 tries in this season, looking to reach 10 here before he's lined up by a Safwa Moore. Now Ratama, cross again to the right-hand side. McKenzie moves it on to Pye wide, cut out pass, finds the hands of Leroy Carter. First touch of the day for him. Well, he's tried to release that ball, and he has knocked it on. And Fihi Norfo, his old Sevens teammate, has managed to clean it up for the Canes back in the hands of Warner Durns. Now Roygard, going off to a Safwa Moore through the hands of Larkai, but it went backwards. Barrack moves it on to Ruben Love. Now passed out to Morby. Again finds himself in open space before being tackled by Coons-Fabling. Ball knocked backwards on the ground. 13 minutes into what has been a hectic pace for this final. Barrett breaks the line again for the Hurricanes. That's about his second or third of the day. Did you say in the suit all day? No, I went to sleep and then woke up, put it back on. Now Roy Gard away to the left-hand side. Looking for the grubber was Ruben Love. It awkwardly bounces. Picked up by Ruben Love here. The step around. Coons babbling at the back. And Love scores the try. And the Hurricanes have another. The only thing they may check is to see whether or not he was in front of Roy Gard, who was looking for the kick in behind. I think either team could win at this point. And also Hurricanes warning, says Parboy. On the way to the left-hand side, it was the kick in behind from Ruben Love initially. It's just whether or not Roy Gard was in front of him at the time of the kick. But I don't think we're going to see a replay of that one again. That tries silence some cowbells. Says Vic Mars. Let's go the Cane, says Matthew in there. Hey, mate, says Clifford, welcome in. A great bit of work. Oh, that's dangerous. They're letting off those, the ones how they fire into the sky around the ground. They're letting those off today. I think you'd say, nah, maybe we don't do that for this matchup due to the 62 kilometres of wind, but the conversion has gone straight through the middle, and Ruben Love has scored and converted his own try, making the score now 12-0 for the Hurricanes after 14 and a half minutes. Jordy Barrett playing his heart out. He's had a phenomenal start to this final. It's 12-0, says Michael. It certainly is. And we have got there, it's a bit of a Hurricanes versus hot here at the moment, says Mark. Damian McKenzie kicking this one off. Decides to opt long again. That is a risk after what happened last time. It goes into the in-goal area. I believe they'll be allowed to force it down, and they go right back to the halfway line yet again. So 2 mistakes off kickoff for McKenzie, who is laughing about it at the moment. He knows that he's just having a bit of an off day currently. But it's weird that you would try a long kick again after you've just butchered one only a few minutes ago. We have to see my message. If not, chat's going fast. I haven't seen it. Kevin, you may have to put it again because I think it flew straight past and I didn't miss it. Wake up the Chiefs. Also, let's go the Canes, come on the boys, and wake up Chiefs, says Hobbit. Clark Laidlaw, he'll be happy enough with what his side has been able to do throughout the early stages of this matchup. But the job's not done. They've still got the rest of the match that they have to make sure that they are clinical in. We have seen comebacks before. That's a BS game. BS game, as in like the McKenzie missed kicks, or like which part of it? Or just in general this match, are you saying? And we have got to appreciate the Mahi, bro. Says Jaden there. Yeah, it's been an exciting Super Rugby tournament. We knew that both of these sides were going to come into it with a lot of aggression. That's a big scrum from the Hurricanes, using it at the back with Peter Larkey. Now Roy Gard goes on. It does go through the hands of Ruben Love, but stays on the side of the Hurricanes yet again. Duplessis Karefi gets around the tackle attempt of Tupavai. Looking forward to seeing Love operate in the Republic, says Raymond. Now rolling this one back again. This time Roy Gard, he did have a very nice box kick just before. I think the Hurricanes 35. Chiefs 23. You're going to Nelson tomorrow. Hopefully the weather's a bit nicer than it is in Wellington or Christchurch today. I'm back across to the right as I walk a little weirdy skip pass from Proctor out to Morby. They're just leaving him an acre of space to be able to work with. And even when they make a tackle on him, he's still making 15 metres before that stage. Look like a knock-on the ground from Billy Proctor. And the penalty actually awarded to the Chiefs anyway. Luke Jacobson get a try, says Kiana. Get out Hurricanes, says Tyrone. How's the weather by you? It is windy and it is rainy. So actually very similar to what we see in Wellington, although I don't think it's as windy here. Possession at the moment, 71% in favour of the Hurricanes, 74% for the territory department. You see it there. It was Taukiaho. Got himself over. No, in fact, it was Sione Ahio. My apologies. Wearing the number 3 on his back today. Up the wires, says Isaiah. Now let's go Hurricanes. Win it. Line out success, 91.4% for the Chiefs throughout the season. They're actually the highest in that department. Taukiaho throws it in water. Dern steals it. It comes off the hand of Taukiaho as it goes into touch. And it will now be the Hurricanes line out. And in the evening, Hamish, appreciate the commentary, says Tommy. And we got plenty more coming up later on. We got South Africa A versus Zimbabwe. That game's going to be starting at 10 p.m. New Zealand time, so in about 2.5 hours. And then alongside that, we've got the first Springbok game of the year. They are going head-to-head with the Barbarians, which does feature quite a few All Blacks or ex-All Blacks in the equation, led by TJ Perenara in that number 9 jersey. Listening from Bali, I like the top you're wearing, says Tim there. Hopefully you are enjoying Bali at the moment. Believe it or not, it is actually somewhere that I've been, but it was quite a wee while ago. Leinster choked the Chokers, and also the Chiefs look like they've had a horse tranquilizer, playing horrendous at the moment, says Dime Till Death. Because the thing is, they've been rough around the edges, right? But at the same time, I want to see what they do in the second half first, because it could just be the case of they're having the worst of the wind as well. Like McKenzie hasn't been able to work out the kickoffs at all. So you wonder whether or not the Canes would be the same, although I'd like to think that they would think to go short because of the wind factor. Now short side, Roy Gard moves it on to Josh Morby. He's a wee way off his wing. Now it goes backwards for a Safwa Moore. I will mention the Hurricanes have had probably 5 handling errors. Only 1 or 2 of them have actually gone forward. What time is the Barbars game? That is going to be at 1 a.m. New Zealand time, 3 p.m. South African time. Billy Proctor in open space now goes on the outside to Harkin, forward pass out to Fihi Whitianofa right in front of the referee. Looks for the offload. Proctor does knock it on though. And now Kieran Tomoe Falau looking for the counter attack, picked up nicely by Vai. That's the netball pass from his back on the ground, McKenzie. Oh, he's running to a wall there. Basilio Tossi and Xavier Numi. I don't think there was a bigger combination that he could have hit in that scenario for Damian McKenzie. But now ball still on the side of the Chiefs as we reach a quarter of the way through this contest. Tokiaho making a couple post-contact meters through Cam Roygard. I want the Canes to win, but the Chiefs supporters need to realise that the game is 80 minutes. Chiefs are good, so they can do better, says Peter Bridge. Now offload coming from Kyle Brown. Feed now on the outside to Quinn Tupaia, running down the wing. He's pushed over pretty late from Morby. Could have probably been a penalty, although it's normally one of those ones that are 50-50. Where's that ball bounce? Bounced in the field of play in the end. It looked like it was going to be kicked in a touch on the full, but it has come right round. Now Leroy Carter looking to run it back 40 metres out. Great low tackle from the co-captains. Now Ratama cross to Samapini. Oh no, in fact, it's Samasoni Tokiaho now. 40 metres out from the line. Kyle Brown. And wrestle towards the sideline here, but just managing to stay in the field of play 5 metres from the near touchline. Ratama across to Simon Parker. Warner Dern's told to get out of that breakdown. It looks like Ratama is going to opt for the kick again. 40 metres out, turns into 50 now if they can retain it, but it's back on the side of the Hurricanes once more. Roygard goes across to the left-hand side. Can you talk more about where they are on the field? It's hard to understand when we can't see. I'll try my best. I think I said about it quite a few times. Maybe that was only in the last minute, I guess, because I think I said it about 3 or 4 times. But now Barrett takes it around the halfway line, gets it off to a Safwa Moore, bulldozers over the top of McKenzie, flicks it out the back door too, but Larkai drops it. Now Coombs Fabling looking for the chip in behind. Barrett claims it. 40 metres again out from the Chiefs line here for the Hurricanes. Basilio Tossi moves it on to Quinn Tupaia. Runs into Quinn Tupaia. Oh, drop ball this time from Geordie Barrett. Will be the scrum feed now for the Chiefs. The chat is going at 1,000 miles an hour at the moment. We have got their super chip from Coombs Fabling. Yeah, well, it's optimistic to go for anything like that at the moment because of the factor of the bounce as well as the wind. It could end up absolutely anywhere. Safwa Moore, he's just run over the top of McKenzie, and then we see it there, the collision he took earlier on. Now scrum feed here for the Chiefs. It is still very blustery. If you got a flag in the stand, you're probably all right because it's definitely going to be blowing sideways out there currently. And Canes fully summoned. I think our Chiefs have a bit more mana, says Paboy. Hurricanes and Springboks can beat Panthers in the NRL. I did also see very briefly that someone asked if I was doing the other 2 games today. We certainly are. South Africa A versus Zimbabwe, and then also Barbarians versus the Springboks. There's a smart man right there. He's got his ski goggles on in the stands to avoid the wind factor. Do you think Springboks will win? Probably. And top first quarter says Dunk. Yeah, it's been attacking rugby at its finest at the moment for these 2 sides. Definitely with the weather factor considered. Like, I'd say that handling errors may be a little bit higher than they want them to be. But at the same time, when that ball is turning in all sorts in the air, it's going to make it that little bit more difficult to be able to take those catches. 12-0 already, says Miss Lee. There was a good start for the Hurricanes. Josh Morby scoring the first, and then a follow-up try from Ruben Love. Forgot for a second who scored that second one. We have got there as an All Blacks in South Africa going to the USA first, and then after the USA going to come to South Africa. So they've got the South African leagues first, and then they go to USA, I think, for the last one. Looks like some rain on the screen, which is probably not what these two sides want. Any sort of extra difficulty in terms of the conditions to play in, but ball in the hands of Ratama currently about to go for the scrum feed. Now Ratama puts this ball in. Oh no, that one's gone back onto the potential side of the Canes. And yeah, it's going to be the free kick awarded to the Hurricanes here. They were just a little bit strong, and it looked like the hooker maybe missed it for Taukiaho. Hello, Lester Whanaruku. No, he's injured, broken leg. He's going to be out for a little while now, unfortunately. We have got there, what do you think the score will be tonight? I'm hoping around that kind of 30-25 or somewhere like that. And we have got there, remember when draw one in the rain, says Hobbit. I mean, any game that took place in Fiji had the factor of potentially being a sunny game for one half and then an absolute pouring down game for the second. That's half the fun, right? Someone's going off the field for an HIA, though. That is not ideal. George Dyer makes his way on. That is to replace Sione Ahio. We have the Hurricanes leading the Chiefs score. Come on, the Chiefs. Says Kian there too. Cam Roygard. He's got the scrum from the same position. About the 30 metres from the Chiefs line. Now go on to the left. Roygard pops it short to Josh Morby. Chiefs are making mistakes like the Bulls in the URC final. And we have got, what do you think the score will be tonight? I just told you before. Like I literally said it. We're going off to the left-hand side now. Devon Flanders. Let's go the Chiefs. Says Kian. Now Roygard moves it on to Peter Larkai. Back across to Callum Harkin. Fihi Finianofo. He will run it in. And the most tries in a Super Rugby season now. And it is the Hurricanes who have scored their third. Just a backline movement to the left-hand side. 24 minutes in now. They sit there 17-0. And the thing is, Josh Morby still theoretically can actually still find a way of tying Fihi Finianofo in that regard. We have you there. What was the special occasion? Did you get married? No. No, I just put on a shirt. As your screen clock stopped, it does sometimes, but it updates itself when there is a try. And currently 24 minutes through and 17-0 in favour of this Hurricanes team. That guy in the stands kind of looked like Cooper Flanders. I don't know if it was, though, but of course, if it was, his brother is playing out there on the field at the moment. Where's this being played? It is being played in a very windy Wellington Stadium. Ruben Lavi is sitting 1 from 2 today. To be honest, 50% is pretty good in these type of conditions. He brings it around with the breeze and gets it over. Well done from Ruben Love. And now 19-0 in favour of the Hurricanes. Teams are bad tonight. Hurricanes winning this. Says dime till death. Yeah, we are still very early on in this matchup. But you have to now wonder, right? No, it's too early. I was going to say, did the Chiefs play their big game last week? Because they dominated the Crusaders' first 40. They went into cruise control in the second half. Are they still in a little bit of cruise control here for this final? It's a knock on from the Hurricanes, though, so it does mean the Chiefs will have themselves the scrum about 30 metres out from the Hurricanes line. Let's get into this game. We can do this. I'll wait for the Cowboys beating the Wires tomorrow. Says just better than you. And also, great job, Kiwi lads. Chiefs all day, says Tomo. Currently handling errors 6 from the Hurricanes, 5 from the Chiefs. George Dyer. I don't know whether or not we'll see Sione Ahio back in this case, but okay, Nick Berry just giving them a little bit of a tip for the scrum, and they need a bit more space to work with. And his performance is diabolical, Chiefs. And HW says Mohadeen, if it keeps like this, it will end up 50-0. The big celebration for Fihi Finianofo, adding to his try-scoring tally. Chiefs look like they're living inside a nightmare. Says dime till death. But they have to score soon, because any more tries for the Hurricanes, this game might almost be done and dusted. The Chiefs have to start looking at that comeback. Try before halftime. Mini goals is what they have to go for. You'll be able to say Zimbabwean names. Some of them probably will go all right. Now Ratama pops it off to Fee now. He's had a pretty solid showing throughout the first 27 minutes. Now Jacobson, Warner Durns, he is frustrated there. You can see the little bit of, no, it's just going to be a knock on though for Durns. The way he reacted made it seem like he thought he was getting a yellow card, just a slap of the ball. Okay, Nick Berry has just said there, it literally has to be a volleyball spike for it to be considered as a... He's stuck his hand out though, Warner Durns, and the way that he kind of went like that afterwards, as if to say, I've done it there. Oh, this camera's getting shaken all around the place. But it will be now the scrum feed for the Chiefs. 25 metres out from the line as the wind a factor is in behind the Hurricanes, then favouring the Chiefs second half. Maybe it seems to be a little bit easier going from left to right than right to left, but only just. I don't know what that was. Something just blew past the camera. Looked like a piece of tape or something. We have got there that guy that scored the last drive for the record. Can he be eligible for the All Blacks? He can be. He was initially going to be going overseas, but New Zealand Rugby kind of blocked him from doing so. So hopefully that is because he is really in that equation. We have got there, does Nick Berry have memory loss? That is a yellow, says time till death. What's the first international game you will be commentating on? I guess South Africa A versus Zimbabwe, if we count that as international, although it's more so a friendly, and then also South Africa versus the Barbarians, both taking place today on the channel. And then we've got the July internationals taking place in 2 weeks' time. I think there's also Māori All Blacks versus Japan XV next week too, if I'm not wrong. And we have then Nick Berry, a dumb ref, says Kian. 29 minutes through, and 21-19 in favour of the Chiefs. Cheers, David. And Zimbabwe, yeah, they're playing up against South Africa A in the curtain raiser for the South Africa versus Barbarians game. Nice run there from Cortes Ratama. And now 12 metres out from the try line on the near side of the field. Tupavai. Another important carry here for the Chiefs. We are almost 30 minutes through this game. Is Marcus Miller playing today? He is alongside Lucanio Arm. So a bit of a difference in age between those two players. Now back across to the right again. Tupavai almost goes round. Basilio Tossi. Looks like he got almost wrong-footed there. This is a good chance for the Chiefs. 6 phases in. He scored. He has indeed. Yes. So is Josh Morby, though. So both of those men still going for that record. Quintal Pyer, pick and go there. Now off to the right-hand side. Great hands from Liam Coombs battling as the pass was round his ankles. Now Ratama again. Moving it on to the right-hand side. There's still 5 metres out, although that becomes 3 after a couple post-contact metres from Dolky. Oh, Norris is over the line. Nick Berry's looking for a grounding. And it's held up. I think they may check this one, though, just to see. And also, it feels like a repeat of the URC final. The halftime score was 22-0 in the URC final. Right, always someone underneath it. That was brilliant work right there from Billy Proctor. Of course, Harkin was the man who got in there initially to start holding it up. But the way that Proctor went underneath with his body meant that there was no way of getting that grounding for Norris, although I would have still liked to see the other side in terms of the angles. It did look very close to being down. This one's going to be kicked downfield and gets a lot of distance on it, much more than the Chiefs were anticipating. Nice take from McKenzie. So I do actually think it's easier with the wind to your back here. Big run forward from Simon Parker. Big clean out from George Dyer too. Now Quintal Pyer. Oh, lobby pass. Hangs in the breeze a little bit. Now tackled by Barrett. Tossi told to get out of there. And Cortez does not look like a Spaniard to me, man, says Shane. And we have got there Xavier Numia going to be in the All Blacks this year. It could be a game of 2 halves due to the wind. I think it might be. Nice run from Ratama with the pick and go. Safua Moore saw it coming next to the breakdown. Now Taukiaho, couple extra meters for him too. Samapeni now looking short side, right next to the sideline, and a penalty advantage in favour of the Chiefs for not rolling away against Isaiah Walker-Leawiri. Now Norris, tackled by Devon Flanders. Back across, Ratama moves it on to Taukiaho. He is probably one of the few players for the Chiefs who has consistently gone forward throughout the whole of this match. I think that Finau would be another, and then Tupai's probably another too. Parker's not doing too badly either. And up to 10 phases. I think that's almost the most that we have seen from the Chiefs in this game. Now, Jacobson offloads up to Josh Lord, holding the ball in one hand, tackled by Durns. Now, Ratama going off to Samasoni Taukiaho. Now, left-hand side again, Finau moves up to the 22-metre line. Hurricane Chiefs says, is it rally? And 60-kilometre wins, that's strong. Second half, we'll see how much the Chiefs had to work with. That is going to be the penalty now going back, though, for this Chiefs side. Or the Hurricanes being offside. Listening to you near the Crea Park in South Africa. My Sky Go doesn't work outside of New Zealand. Thanks for the commentary, Gamish. I think the Canes will be slightly better today, says Fred. And also the Hurricanes Chiefs. Currently, they have played a pretty intense pace, which also might play a bit of a factor because, of course, running round in the wind fatigue the players that little bit more. And Hurricanes will win tonight. The Chiefs really woke up and decided to impersonate the Bulls. Yeah, we've got to have a close final somewhere along the lines, right? Premiership might be our best option at this stage. That game has taken place in about 8 hours' time. Or sorry, I think it's a bit less than that, probably about 6 hours' time. And it has taken place. I love the cowbell, says Flapjack. Territory the last 10 minutes, 94% in favour of the Hurricanes, but Samasoni Taukiaho now with the line out. Possession last 10 minutes is actually, it says 100% in favour of the Chiefs, though. They have not allowed the Hurricanes to have the ball whatsoever, but they also haven't turned it into any points as of yet. Ratama, ball on the inside to Taukiaho. He breaks through one, but Amua hangs on to his ankle. Now left-hand side, Dyer, man who made his way onto the field for Sione Ahio, who we have still not seen make his way back. Taukiaho again, by two of the Hurricanes loose forwards. Now Norris, close to scoring that try only a couple of minutes ago. George Dyer thought about firing it out wide. But again, doesn't quite get the job done. Samapeni now. Now McKenzie tries to pierce through, but he's offloaded the ball and has gone straight into the hands of Callum Harkin. And now Isaiah Walker-Leawiri puts in the long boot. Morby currently winning the foot race alongside Fehi Finianofo for the Canes. Mistake at the back from Quinn Tupai. Bounce pass to Liam Coombs babbling. That ball has hung in the breeze, but it goes straight back into his hands before he drops it. Coombs babbling. And the Hurricanes back in possession again. Now playing under the knock-on advantage. Warner Durns went for the offload on the outside. Oh, that's interesting. So Samapeni has just given Warner Durns a little bit of a talking to there. Durns' big smile on his face. He doesn't seem to be phased whatsoever. I think that's frustration for Finau. Currently with what his side are doing. 19-0, 35 minutes in. They need to get that try. And like we mentioned, 10 minutes of 100% possession to still be on zero. The Chiefs, they just have to find a way through. They are just showing at the moment. Live from Chiefs HQ. They don't look happy at the moment. The Chiefs need support. Maybe take off your tie on one button for now, says Xander. It's only 5-0. Chiefs will be up their tempo, get possession. It's on like Donkey Kong. And 12-0, Chiefs can still win it, says Tomo. Okay, so they're just saying there about how the wind is to the back of the Hurricanes, which does add a little bit of extra boost for the kicks, which does show how strong those kicks of McKenzie were for the drop goals. Or sorry, the drop kicks from halfway, that they did go into the dead ball area. Roy Yard, cross to the right. If the Hurricanes can score again before the halftime break, might almost be done and dusted, although it can be a game of two halves. Like we mentioned, we've seen how many points the Chiefs can score in a half of rugby. They did it just last week up against the defending champions. Roy Guard, cross to Basilio Tossi. Ruben Love, that's the first touch we've seen from that man in quite some time, although to be fair, quite a few touches for the Chiefs recently. 5 metres out the line, a soft one more. And them close, Basilio Tossi leaves that one alone for Peter Larkai. Again, in a very dangerous position on the field. Billy Proctor wrestled towards the sideline by Coombs Fabling. And Tossi on the inside, tackled by Parker. This could be a terrible time for the Chiefs to concede here. Right near the end of the first half, Duplessis Karefi, tackled by Vai. Now Roy Guard, he's got many options on the right-hand side. Larkai again will just hit it up into the vents of the Chiefs. Currently 9 phases in for this Hurricane side. Devon Flanders. This seems like they're shaping up to either go wide left or to go wide right here. Looks like maybe right-hand side could be on the cards as they are just under the goalpost currently. Geordie Barrett going across. He decides to take the contact himself. Offloads to Harkin, who runs it in through the gap in the Chiefs' defensive line. And the Hurricanes have their fourth. Okay, Nick Berry is just explaining why that is a try by the sounds of it, but 37 minutes through and now 24 points to nil. Chiefs would have been definitely better with Damien McKenzie off the field. He's having the worst game of his life, says time till death. Geordie Barrett found that offload away to Callum Harkin. Speaking of games of your life, Geordie Barrett's certainly doing quite well. This is looking like he was doing for Leinster last year in the URC final. Yeah, and see the celebration from Clark Laidlaw as well. He is absolutely loving it. Others worse in the URC final. There's Galoff. Well, currently very similar scoreline, isn't it, compared to that game? And how many finals have the Chiefs made past 5 years and lost? Sheesh, come on the Chiefs. But she's a win-win. And great for Kiwi Rugby. I know there's a fourth, says Libby. That kick has gone over from Love too. And that is now going to make the score 26 points to nil. And we have got there Shutgate Harkin, your beauty. And also Canes, here's Fams. And rugby is a useless sport. Cricket is better. Says Ano. And also go the Canes. Says Sock. And this is Spag. Come on the Chiefs. Says Paul. Yeah, well, now they're in that scenario how, like, they've got a minute remaining of this first half where they just, McKenzie's tried to kick it off. It's gone out on the full because the wind has caught that one. Decided to go for the short kickoff rather than long. And it just seems like it is an impossible feat to get a kickoff going right. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Ruben Love does a grubber to kick off the second half, ladies and gentlemen, from that side. Or at least if they do have a kickoff at some point. Bring on Josh Aiken says hey no, and Leka Kane says Lino. Currently, the Hurricanes, 4 tries from 4 backs. In this case, we've seen Harkin, Love, also Fihi Fidianofo, and Josh Morby. We have got there just like school exams. There's always next year, Chiefs. Says it is Taldro Strickland. The Chiefs need Sam Kane, Sonny Bill Williams, Brody Retallick. Says Hobbit there. Currently 3 seconds remaining of this first half. The question is, will the Hurricanes just boot this ball into touch? Or will they try and score once more and really dig it in? They've got the advantage, so they may as well here. Cam Roygard looking off to the right. Geordie Barrett now wide past him. Morby, who's knocked it on, but they go back for the penalty. Jan Hendrik Vessels says his hands is itchy. Says Azander. I reckon the Chiefs betting fan should go another 100, probably return 5K. Gamble responsibly, we will, of course, say. Oh, okay. They're going to have a shot at the post here, which does just show you the difference in terms of the win factor, because the chance of getting one over from halfway going the other way, I think, would be near on impossible. Whereas I think that Geordie Barrett, or is it Ruben Love? Ruben Love's going to back himself to be able to kick this one the 50 metres. He looks a little bit uncertain, to be fair. I think he was having a conversation with Tossi there. They're just saying there about the potential of kicking it out to the right and trying to bring it around. It will certainly be one of the best kicks of the season, too, from straight out. About 5 Oh, no, in fact, no, you're not even 5 metres to the side of the centre, probably about 2 metres to the centre of the goalposts and about 50 metres out. 500 on the cane, says Mirror Man. He's sitting 3 from 4 today, Ruben Love. Now, ready to strike it. He's got it to the right. Tell you what, it's straight down the middle. If the wind plays game, which it does, it goes over. And that now makes the score 29 points to the nil. And Ruben's love showing D-Max says Hobbit, but that is a half and a half from the Hurricanes. It's been a massive performance. But again, the wind, it seems like it's been easier going left to right. We can't completely rule out the Chiefs of the second half period, but they have to be strategic in the way that they play. A lot of that stuff. Says, I love you, Lumi. And I was like, yes, there's John. And there too. Yeah, very nicely done to end out the half. Because the thing is, that just adds that little bit more pressure. It now means that the Chiefs need 4 converted tries and something to be able to get themselves the lead in this contest. Chiefs sad, says Reed Nichols. But that is now 2 games, ladies and gents. You can actually say 3 if you include Toulouse versus Racing 92, where it has been extremely one-sided at the halftime break. We have the Chiefs. Says Mr. Dalmar, up the Canes, says DS in first half for the Canes. And who's your All Blacks halves? Says Taldro. So in my All Blacks team, I went with Cam Roygard, I went Ratama, and I went with Hotham. And I had a little bit of reasoning behind it. I feel like someone like a Kyle Preston, Adam Lennox, or a Dylan Pledger could potentially be a bolter soon, but I don't know if it will be right now. Might as well go to bed, Amish, and get ready for Springboks versus Barbars. Well, the next game that we've got is happening in 2 hours' time, and that's South Africa A versus Zimbabwe. So there would be no time for sleeping by the time this game ends, or even if I was to go to bed now, which is not going to be the case. Still got another 40 minutes. When there's heaps to do with the game. The good news is same win second half. So it means that the Chiefs can look at what the Hurricanes did throughout that first 40 and try and do the same and add a little bit more to it as well. We're seeing 4 tries scored all by backs. Callum Harkin, he has gone over. Also Ruben Love, Fihi Firianofo, and Josh Morby, the try scorers just at this point in time. And we're going to the Chiefs need a boot in the backside to be nice. And we have there, surely Ruben Love must be 10 for the All Blacks. Kind of embarrassing, says Jason. Very much so. I did see one before the game as well about how it was the Chiefs' title, but they're going to have that massive comeback to get their hands on it throughout the second 40. We have got there, what does McKenzie have a mental breakdown for every final? Says Dime Till Death. And great job, Hamish, of the man, brother. Says Tomo. And also in the PM. Says Pete. Is that to do with when the other games are taking place? 10 p.m. is when we're going to see Zimbabwe versus South Africa A, which we are going to be covering. Roy should be banned from All Blacks after last week, says Kiwi Rob. And why are the Chiefs supporters blaming the ref? I haven't actually seen anyone blaming the ref at this point in time, which is the complete opposite of what we saw in that URC final between Leinster and the Bulls. The whole chat, a majority of the time, was about the refereeing, but I think they've actually done decently referee-wise in this contest, which is good because you want a final without controversy. And I feel like at the moment we've had that. You know, there have been times where the errors have actually been hurting the teams rather than any decisions made. So it's actually quite nice. We have without the Canes, and thanks to the commentary game, the man, says Tony. Zoe coming back for the Chiefs, says Paul. And also the Canes will play win much smarter than the Chiefs in the second half, says Dunk. Well, they've almost had a crash course of what not to do, haven't they? Who is leading at the moment? The Hurricanes, 29-0 at this stage of the contest. So a very hefty lead. It all started with the early try from Josh Morby in the 7th minute. It will be really interesting second half to see if the wind is having a factor. Hey, from China go the Chiefs, says Wayno. Hamish's fault. Says Mohaddin. And also, Hamish, I've been here from 15 to 20,000, bro. You're always gifted. But it's improve your rugby commentary is at least elite. My opinion, the best in New Zealand. Thank you very much, Nazi. It is greatly appreciated, of course. See, because 15 to 20,000, that was a good, like, at least 3 or 4 years ago, wasn't it? So you've stuck around for a lot of me talking, which I always find quite incredible. They're just showing the highlights of the tries as well. Kicks retained. We've seen 3 retained from the Hurricanes. The Chiefs haven't retained a kick in that first half. And how was your water? It was all right. It wasn't very cold, surprisingly, even though the rest of the country is pretty cold at the moment. We have got there. What are you talking about? No ball supporter blame the ref. They took that loss with dignity and respect, says Xander. And also coming in hot from Canada. It's 4 a.m. here in Kiakaha. Chiefs money. It's $10 to win 300. Says Jameson. A big second half coming up. And also from Alice Springs, Australia. Go the Canes. Says Michelle. It looks like they've got a halftime performance that is about to take place. I think it will be probably got about 10 minutes of halftime performance, maybe a bit shorter than that. Room 11 for 10, maybe the Wellington test. Up in no way, Edinburgh or Christchurch. So that's pretty big from you, though, Kiwi Rob, because I know recently you, like literally the last few weeks, you've said he's not an All Blacks 10. He shouldn't be there. And now you've changed it to he should at least get some opportunity, which is quite the big change. Stan Walker performing at halftime by the looks of it. Pretty windy old day for a concert, though. And enjoying the game from UAFC and Thailand, says Kevin. And also, have you tried drinking the soda water with lemon flavour? It's very nice, says Jason. And also the Chiefs' big comeback and win the game. Tell you what, it would be a second half of dreams for the Chiefs if they were to somehow come back and win this game. But the thing is, right, again, the game of two halves is something that gets talked about quite a bit in a match of rugby. What's the halftime show about? Who's like saying it is Stan Walker. I was doing the halftime show. We have got there looking forward to the All Blacks in South Africa. Bring it on, says Raymond. It's a 30-point win. See how good the Canes are in the second half, and the Chiefs have the triple blindside tactic. That is basically about dominating and suffocating the breakdown, as it cons such as a less explosive carries. I like the Canes and more dominant cleanouts, says Tanner. Are you wearing formal trousers and shiny black shoes, or are you just in the PJs from the waist down, says Rishi? I've got pants on. They just aren't dress pants. They're just boring old kind of track pants, I guess, and the Chiefs could possibly win. But I think the more likely outcome is that they're going to put 50 on. I like they have to pretty much everyone, says Freshman. Yeah, I was showing the recent games for the Hurricanes throughout the build-up of this contest. And as you can see, there have not been many games at all where they haven't been able to get into the 30s, if not higher. In fact, over their last 7, the only time that they didn't reach 38 or more points was actually the game up against the Crusaders, which was a very different looking lineup for the Hurricanes in that contest. But, 57 points up against the Blues, 66 against the Brumbies, 45 on the Landers, 47 on the Blues, 50 on Moana. They find momentum and they just keep going. This Hurricanes team. I've watched this YouTube channel for 3 years. I waited for so long after we choke final after final. And yeah, it is a tricky one for the Chiefs because, this year, after beating the Crusaders in the semi, it seemed like that was going to be the turning point. But now this first half has been anything but. So they have to make sure they are, of course, the first team to score in the second half, but they just have to keep on going after that as well. Has Curran scored? He has not. And have you got any plans for next Saturday night, tomorrow afternoon for the Wars, and next weekend for the Māori All Blacks versus Japan? I haven't done any scheduling as of yet in terms of what is happening next week, but we'll probably end up doing the Māori All Blacks game, I would think. There's also another game taking place next weekend too, right? I think it's at 1 a.m. or something around there. I'm just going to have a quick look, see which game it is that I'm thinking of. Because, yeah, I think there is one. Barbarians versus Wales is taking place at 1 a.m. next week. I don't know whether or not they're showing that one here in New Zealand, but if they are, we'll probably end up having a look at it. And it was being the better team throughout the season. You'd say the Hurricanes. Like the Chiefs have had a very good year as well, but the Hurricanes going into this game had their points differential of about 250. They have scored time after time. They have had the most decorated season for a Super Rugby side, scoring over 100 tries and counting at this point in time. And which was closer. I would have already seen the money shot, I think. There's Russell. And also the Chiefs made mistakes, but also showed some good things in the first half. Unlucky to have not scored, says Hartley. Yeah, they got very close with Ollie Norris being just on the verge of going over. We over there, well done, the Hurricanes, best season in years, well-deserved, 2026 winners. And also we over there, what key players were missing from the Hurricanes 15 when they got beat by the Crusaders, says Tom. 1 second. I'll let you know. So, in that lineup for their game up against the Crusaders, they did have... Right. Noah Safua-Moore, no Pasilio Tossi, no Warner Dearns. I guess you could also argue no Caleb Delaney at the time. They didn't use Peter Larkite, Devon Flanders, Duplessis Karefi, or Devon Flanders. I think I said him. They did have Cam Roigard. They didn't have Ruben Love, but that was due to injury. No Geordie Barrett, no Billy Proctor, no Josh Morby, no Fihi Finian-Nofo. Oh, no, Morby was playing fullback, sorry. So, yeah, quite a few compared to some of their other games. We have got there, I can tell, I've kept telling you guys ever since that Canterbury versus Otago final, the wind is 10 times worse than the rain in every single way possible. With rain, you can slide. It makes carries easier, says Tanner. And also, the Canes going to show the boys how to handle the wind, says Sammy. And I've been speechless and crying 4 years of final losses. Do you think D-Mac has played himself out of the All Black selection? Probably not. I think that Rennie would still probably put him in there. Has he played out of your selection, though, Kiwi Rob? Because once again, throughout the last 5 weeks, you've told us how bad Ruben Love is and that he shouldn't be near an All Blacks jersey. Now are you putting him in for Damian McKenzie in your team? And getting a good old spanking. There's Shane. And Kane's training in his in this day in, day out. And the damn wind of the Cape Town is ripping us to shreds. Although they will get to have the wind to their back in the second half. So that is one bonus that they've got here for the Chiefs. But they have to make the most of it. Because there won't be, I don't think, a huge amount of opportunity outside of, the first 10 minutes or so in this half. That's their best chance of starting a comeback. If they don't score in 10 minutes, I think this game is done. What's up, Mahuso? A long time since Hurricanes taking the title. Good to be watching this game. Yeah, since 2016. So pretty much a decade ago was when we did see them last lift that trophy. The Chiefs, it's been since 2013. Was there any hope for them? I think it depends again on the wind. If they do use that wind to their advantage and strategically play in the second half and the Hurricanes make a couple mistakes along the way, like theoretically, 5 tries and a half, let's be honest, in Super Rugby is nowhere near impossible. We saw the Chiefs score, I believe it was 6 in the first half up against the Crusaders last week. So they can do it. It's just whether or not they get it right in the earliest stages. And lucky to have all the key players or the key ABs right now on paper, says Cyrus. And also, we have got all that Chiefs mana out the window now. We have got there, Hamish, you think Chiefs will come back second half? Yes, I wouldn't pick Damian McKenzie for All Blacks, maybe 15. Okay. Well, I feel like Ruben Love must be having a phenomenal game then, because, yeah, you kind of, like I said, you've been bad-mouthing him for weeks, and now you're like, yeah, he'll do. Chuck him in there. Richie Mo'unga, number 10 for the All Blacks, not quite. November is when he is able to play. Won't be taking part in that South African tour unless there is an injury drought for the ABs. And then also isn't eligible for July due to playing overseas. We have there Chiefs without the Mana Boy, says Cyrus, and bring back Bodie, says Wafer. Second half of this contest, I would say we are only probably 3 or so minutes away from the start of it. And we'll mention anyone who is new to the channel. Of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to the 100,000 mark. If you do want to help us get there, please do. Also, I will mention we've got more games taking place later on tonight. South Africa versus Zimbabwe, followed by South Africa versus the Barbarians. And good news for the Socceroos, though. Paraguay beat Turkey. So all they must do is beat or draw versus Paraguay, and they will qualify for the second spot. Says Haino. Fihi, the winger from the Highlanders, should start. I assume you're talking about Caleb Tangitau, and sadly, he is injured at the moment, out for the season due to the lower leg injury. But yeah, he seemed like a guy who could have definitely been a bolter in terms of that All Black squad, but just, yeah, injured at the worst possible time. Who played the best in the first half? I'd probably say the Canes for the fact that they scored 4 times and are winning 29-0. And by the way, who would you pick as your third first five if we got injuries during the test in July? Because I noticed you only had 2 first fives. Says Kiwi Rob. Well, I only picked the 2. I was happy enough with just the 2 for now, because I'd rather wait till there is an injury and then decide, rather than like picking based off an injury that could happen, which it could, because at the end of the day, like, injuries do happen. Imagine the wind stops in the second half, says Alan. To be honest, it would just be the Chiefs' luck, because, they haven't had a lot of luck in this game with the bounce of the ball and whatnot. They also haven't had a lot of luck to score tries throughout that first half. Are we worried about the Cotton Ball defence in the final? Doesn't bode well for internationals. Not really. I think that there's Artie Savia sitting next to Anton Leonard-Brown, who are in the stands. The 2 players who have had multiple caps for these 2 sides. But yeah, I don't think it will translate into international level, because you've got different tactics, you've got different coaches, you've got different selections, different kind of trios and duos and whatnot. So yeah, I wouldn't look too far into it. Who was the best player in the half is what you mean? Oh, that kick's gone backwards from Barrett. And now welcome to the second half for the Hurricanes as the Chiefs get themselves the ball early. Cortez Ratama across to Samasoni Taukiaho. They need to get the early try. Try and give themselves half a shot at coming back. Geordie Barrett tackled. Making the tackle on Simon Parker. That number was half by coming off the back, and it's a drop ball from Tupavai. Now Peter Lakai across to Proctor. Decides to kick this one downfield. Smart play from Proctor too. Goes for the low kick rather than letting it get swirled in the breeze. That's what happened last night in the URC final, says George. We have got the Hurricanes hive mind, says Simon there. And I says your fave. Now ready for the line out here. And it will be the Chiefs line out throw. This is rigged. Which part of it? Like the drop ball from Vai, or the score line, or the tries, or what part of it is rigged? Because so far, I think the refereeing's been decent, which is something that sometimes in a final we can't actually say. So yeah, I don't think the ref has played much of a factor in this one as of yet. Nice take from Liam Coombs, fabbling. Bit of an awkward bouncing ball there. Oh, okay, that was playing a man off the ball by Luke Jacobson on Isaiah Walker-Leawiri. The Chiefs still with the ball in hand. I hate this when the coach doesn't use the bench immediately. Says Haino. Now Cortez Ratama. And across to the right-hand side, Damian McKenzie lined up by Duplessis Karefi. And Isaiah Walker-Leawiri turns it into a rolling maul, which means that the Chiefs have to get this ball out, and they're unable to do so. Comes the scrum for the Hurricanes, 40 metres out from the opposition line. It's a bit rough for you, wasn't able to have a break, says Peter M there. And also, Hurricanes do good. Canes vs Bordeaux will be a goodie. And if you had to be honest, where did the balls go wrong? There were probably a lot of places they went wrong. 15 handling errors is always going to hurt. They seem to get their tactics wrong in the first half. Their discipline let them down in the first half too. So, yeah, there's multiple factors. I like your starting 15, concedes 29 points. The bench can't do worse, says Haino. I guess who would be the changes that you'd make in terms of off the bench? I think that, I'm looking through, like, Xavier Rowe, maybe? I don't know whether or not you put on Koi Boshier in the loose forward trio, maybe, but the loose forwards aren't actually doing that bad just at this point in time. Josh Jacob, I guess, maybe, would be your one that you're going to look at, but there is a penalty advantage now in favour of the Hurricanes. Backline movement. Ruben Love skips round the tackle attempt to Liam Coombs family. Now to the corner. Josh Morby also has his 17th. And now him and Fihi are in a foot race for who can get that big record for the season, but currently they're both sharing it. 43 and a half minutes through, the Hurricanes have struck early. How bad are the Crusaders? Tears in a light. I feel like Kiwi Rob is a plant in your streams, as you never seem to miss reading any of his comments. Well, it's normally because they're that controversial that everyone loves laughing at them. But you're also, that's about your 20th about Kiwi Rob in the last 10 minutes. Jason. So you're probably better off just moving on from it. Josh Morby flying down the wing. He makes it a double for him currently. And the Hurricanes are still continuing the fact that they are only scoring with their backs and can't hear a single cowbell, says Vic. And we have their Dan, says Nazi. And also we have got, if it was the Chiefs, I wouldn't have come back out of the second half. I hopped on the bus and drove to the airport, says Johnny Blaze. Oh, what a kick from Ruben Love. That one's actually ended up hitting the post, bouncing off it and curving round in. Welcome to AB's Morby, says Dunk. I'd be very surprised if that man is not named. Definitely with you've got the injury factor as well. Any tactic for content and views, says Jason. I think the same about your comments. So it's like, it's no different. You literally do what Kiwi Rob does, but to a different level in terms of like between the two of you. You both almost fall into the same category. But now Callum Harkin looking to fire this one back into the pocket. Off to Isaiah Walker, Leaweri. Wait. The Chiefs, where'd that go? Wait, Chiefs maybe foxing. What does foxing mean? I haven't heard that terminology. But 36 minutes through at the moment. Sorry, not 36, 46 minutes through and 36-0. The way that the scoreline currently sits. Back across, Roygaard goes to Ruben Love, Isaiah Walker, Leaweri, goes to Xavier Numia, now moving it on to the left-hand side. Once again, Warner Durns. A solid final thus far. Callum Harkin to the halfway line. Back across, Roygaard, going to Xavier Numia, Ruben Love, short ball to Barrett, still moving forward, offload there. Flanders gets collided with by Summerpenny Finau. I think that Duplessis Karefi felt like he was obstructed off the ball there too. I haven't watched any Super Rugby this season. But what makes this match so one-sided? Why are the games so clinical today? Well, they have been clinical all throughout the season. Looks like an injury here, though. There is a head knock for Tupovai. And this does not look too good for Vai currently. Fihi Finianofo goes over just to check on him. I wonder how Geordie Barrett is going to deal with South Africans, says Jude. And WF wasn't expecting that, says Dark. And Kane says up, Chiefs tails down. And how do we watch South Africa game? It is on Sky Sport. But the South Africa A versus Zimbabwe game isn't. And we have got well done the Hurricanes. You're taking your opportunities and Chiefs are not. There'll be a hard push to come back from this, but it's not over till it's over. Says Cheryl. Noitoa Koi. He makes his way on for Vai. And can the Games break the Super Rugby biggest winning margin in the final? Bulls 61, Chiefs 17. I don't think they'll quite get there. But they're certainly looking like getting towards those 40s and the 50s, maybe, if they continue the way that they are. The Canes, for any chance of a Chiefs comeback in this game, they just had to make sure they didn't concede first. At this rate, Zimbabwe and Barbarians will win, says Haino. And condolences to the Chiefs, says Benny. Vai off. I don't think there's going to be a difference. It's a big difference between being a professional announcer and a streamer. Exactly right, which is why they're in the skybox and I'm here on YouTube. You're literally saying what I agree with every week. And all love to the Chiefs, way better than my plastic blue, says Nazi Williams. And also, we've got their Chiefs have way too many what? And we have got their way rather be the Chiefs. At the end of the day, Chiefs beat the Canes and the Highlanders to a title. That's why Canes are loud, because they've been trash, says Cyrus. Well, they certainly haven't been trash this season. They have got the most tries in a season, 109 in total here. And that is an extra 14 above what any other side has had. The last time that it happened was the Hurricanes in 2017. They had 95. The Lions also scoring 92 in 2017. I was expecting close match, getting a hiding, says Dark, and listening loud and clear on the England-Scotland border. Looking forward to the Test match summer. And the Chiefs are cooked. Hamish, you should live stream the Soccer World Cup. Brother, way more exciting, no disrespect, says Tomo. Well, the Kiwis went pretty well in their first game up against Iran, didn't they? Nice, close one. In that regard, has Damian McKenzie worked his way out of AB's contention? I don't think so. I think Rennie will still stick him in more than likely. Chiefs blown it away. And my advice for the Chiefs fans is to follow the example of the Bulls. Lose with dignity and stop blaming the ref. I don't think I've seen a single Chiefs supporter blaming the ref at this point in time. Now, scrum feed here. Hurricanes ball yet again. Geordie Barrett. He's had a big, solid game, and he has certainly booked his spot in that All Blacks environment. Crowd seeing a little bit as well. They are loving the atmosphere, even though that wind has been a bit of a factor. Geordie Barrett, another carry. That was, I believe, Kyle Brown making the tackle on him. Devon Flanders. Now Roygaard going away to the left-hand side. Now short ball, Larkai, cross to Numia, Safwa Moore on the outside, sits down Quintapai. Who hasn't that man sat down throughout this matchup? I'm a little shocked at how one-sided this is, but the Canes are happy for the Canes to get their second ever title. And now almost going through was Cam Roygaard with the sniping run. Now Ruben Love, I put $1,000 on the Chiefs. Was that before or after the scoreline? Like, was it like a pre-match one? Short ball, Harkin goes to Flanders, and he runs it in for try number 6 now, and the first forward to score in this final. Makes it 41-0. Now, we have to there sit down to Pie, says Peanut. Would you actually enjoy just commentating a game professionally without the distraction of people having fun besides the actual game? Probably not, to be honest. I think that the chat is what makes these so much more fun. Like, we've done over 1,500 live matches, but if I didn't have the chat on, I don't even think we would have done 15. Are you allowed to say it's the truth? I'm born and bred here? Yeah, but I'm not, so I don't know whether I have the inside, like, pass to say it. And we have got there Canes, and again, Flanders says Gus Town, but Devon Flanders, he is a man that a lot of people thought was going to be a bolter, then was heading overseas to Japan. And who knows? Maybe Rennie still considers him as a potential option. And there the Canes 1 to 12 for a $4,000 rip ticket. Says Levi, you're definitely going to need the Chiefs to fire up then. In the last 32 minutes of the game, looks like a change is being made. Tyrell Lomax makes his way on. That is for Basilio. Oh, see, that ball just stopped going and it's hit the crossbar from Ruben Love there. It's a weird one for the kicking department, because we look at Love throughout that first half, kicked one from over 50 meters away, and then that one just hung in the breeze, almost had the distance, needed an extra about meter or so. Thanks for the commentary, Gamish. We appreciate you. And this channel, says Tomo. And yeah, we have still got plenty more coming up later on tonight. South Africa, Zimbabwe is the first game. South Africa versus Barbarians, the second. Yeah, Lomax for Tossie. I think that might be the only sub just at this point in time. And you have a chocolate ball wrapped in an orange towel. Do they still make those, though? Because I heard that someone said that they don't do them anymore, which would be a massive shame, unless, of course, it's just like one of the brands that don't do it anymore. Yeah, Jeff is discontinued. So they've still got them at, like, random shops, but the actual, I think they were RJs, weren't they? Permanently discontinued in New Zealand due to declining sales. So people didn't buy them enough. So they just said, nah, we're not doing them anymore. Are you watching that game? Which one? The Barbarian South Africa or the South Africa Zimbabwe one? And here comes the 50-plus in the final history up the Canes. Now kick downfield from Cam Roygaard. Oh, that one hangs in the breeze, and again a drop ball, this time from Josh Jacob for his first touch since making his way onto the field, but the Hurricanes back with the ball. South A1 through Super Sport. That's how I'm watching that one. As I Walker, Leo Witty with the cross kick to Finian Nofo. They're up to the 20 meters out now. And Chiefs after this game have been put use on drills and laps. Says Dark. Now 30 minutes left. What is going to feel like a real eternity for this Chiefs side. Oh, the no-look pass from Xavier Numia sold the cameraman the wrong way. Now Roygaard back across to the right-hand side. Ruben Love, I don't know what's happened there. Oh, there's a balloon out there on the field. I think someone was getting confused with the balloon and the rugby ball there for a second. Jacob, he is on the field for Kieran Tomai Falau. Looks like they've won the turnover there for the Chiefs, and he manages to get the penalty in the process too. Summer penny fee now. Now running forward, Ratamai's knocked it on, or has he? No, he was offside anyway, the Hurricanes player. And the Chiefs decide that they want to take it quickly too. Here's McKenzie. Passes across to Quinn Tupaia. Bumps off Morley and sits him down. Drawn pass with Liam Coons fabbling. He's close to the sideline. He was almost wrestled out, so he offloads back in. And a Safwa Moore is there for being able to get the ball back to the Canes. And even if the Springboks lose both games, their name is just to shave his eyebrows. No. Oh, that one's got into touch. Because the thing is, throughout this weekend with some of the scorelines we're seeing, you just never know. And games now having fun, putting Chiefs to the sword. Didn't see this coming, says MG Kiwi. And we have there 41-0. This is the final. What a joke. Any money, 80% of the ABs will be from the Crusaders, says Campen. And also we have got, I cannot believe that a team with so many ABs has just not turned up, says Rishi. Yeah, they've just tactically been outdone throughout this matchup. The Hurricanes, they played the win perfectly in the first half, and they've already played the win much better than the Chiefs did throughout the whole 40 in the first 12 of the second half. Now thrown into the front. One's going to be slapped back there by Xavier Numia. Bloody hell, they just don't get it right on the finals night since Rennie's days, says Bunny. Ball is on the side of the Canes again. Roygaard looking for the grubber in behind, just playing territory now. It's a good kick too, put in Damien McKenzie under pressure, slips over, drops the ball, knocks it on the ground as well. Luckily for him though, I think the referee missed it. The Hurricanes looking for the steal and the breakdown, and they get the penalty, and the nightmare for McKenzie does continue. Right, they want a quick tapper, and they do just that. Roygaard runs it straight at Ratama. They're still right where they want to be here, the Hurricanes. The chance of turning it into try number 7. Fihi Finianofo goes across. Geordie Barrett, he's over the line. And the Hurricanes have another one. What can you even say at this point? 46-0 in this final. The Hurricanes are running absolutely rampant here. As a bad for the AB's tour, South Africa. As with Kane style won't work there, says Hnry. Not necessarily. I think that what's going to happen is you've got a lot of informed players heading into that side, and then they will have to adapt to the tactics that Rennie gives them, but they should be all right. At the end of the day, it's going to be a tough tour anyway, because, this is a side that will only just be put together. New coach, new tactics. So, yeah, I think there'll be a lot of learnings that come from it anyway, no matter what the result was here. Canes have sucked in the finals many times. The second title has been a long time coming. They've just said here that the Hurricanes have been as good as they've ever seen. That was from Jeff Wilson. And Ruben Love gets the kick over too, making it now 48-0. 48. But the thing is, what's more impressive, the 48 or the 0 in a final? Probably the 48, to be fair, because that's still a very big number. But, yeah, the fact that they haven't conceded as well. Some sides, when they're looking to go aggressive on the attack, they can end up conceding just due to leaving gaps for the counter-attack. That's far from what the Hurricanes have done here. And no one in the world would beat the Hurricanes in Wellington tonight. Says dime till death. How much do you think the Chiefs are suffering from jet lag? And also, the Chiefs' highlights going to consist of 95% missed tackles footage. There'll be a few, but then that's just been in the build-ups of the tries as well. Brad Shields makes his way onto the field. Rowe comes on for Ratama. Not even close, here's Tarnas. People were calling the URC final one-sided. This one's worse at the moment. Thank you so much for your commentary this year. Super Rugby Amateur the man, and keep it up, bro. Says Tony. And also someone said the Hurricanes had no chance earlier. Are they still in here, says Kayla? I don't think even the most loyal Hurricane supporters were backing them to win by this margin at this point in time. I think that the most I saw anyone say that they were going to win by was like 15 or somewhere around there. But now Simon Parker, ball in hand for the Chiefs. Leroy Carter trying to fend off Billy Proctor. Another man that we haven't really seen a huge amount of throughout the game. And it's another knock on from the Chiefs. This time, Jared Prophet, the man putting the ball down. And D-Mac has always been a flop. There's one up my kicks. And I was at events. Makes me want to cry. It was so good, says Shane. And just give Hurricanes black jerseys to represent New Zealand, says Given. And bloody ref, says in a light. 25 minutes remaining. And at the moment, it just feels like this result is done and dusted, ladies and gents. It's just more of the question of how much are they going to win by. 7 try involvements in the last 4 matches. 4 tries, 3 assists for Cam Roygaard. He's definitely one of those first names that get put down on the team sheet. This is the Chiefs' worst game in history. Be up there. I would definitely say it is one of their worst. And the worst thing about it is last week was one of their best. So they literally went from the highest of highs of beating the Crusaders to now feeling what would definitely feel like one of the lowest of lows, being 48-0 down in a final. And Roy going to love has to be starting ABs. Okay, Nick Berry just saying there was no balance in that scrum. And also, now who's our 10? Change the rules. Let our old mate play overseas get in. Says Campen. And also, we have got there, tell the ref to stop the game. It's just a waste of watching the remaining minutes as the Hurricanes already wrapped this game. And is this the most one-sided final in Super Rugby history? Yes, at the moment it is. The biggest win in a final, 48 plus would be, well, this would be 48. The second biggest final margin was back in 2009, Bulls versus Chiefs, and the Bulls won that game by 44 points. Now off to the right, Cam Roygar. Can they do it again here? The Hurricanes, their backline again is crisp and moving the ball beautifully out to Morby. Currently him and Fihi Whirianofo. If either of those two men score, they are the highest try scorer of a season in Super Rugby. Now Xavier Numia. Nice step from the big man as he goes around a couple more. Passes on the outside. Out to Fihi Whirianofo. This is brilliant, but now the drop ball. Fee now with a cheap shot on a Safwa Moa too. Just out from the Chiefs goal line now. They have got the possession. That is the Chiefs who have got the ball. Let's go. The Canes says Wolf. I know Chiefs in the ABs don't do much. He's been out slab. There'll probably be about, I'd say, 8 Chiefs in the ABs environment. Now Rowe back into the pocket. Now McKenzie is banging that ball into touch. You think Mr. Rennie is vomiting after seeing this? I would say, with the fact that the squad's being announced in 2 days, there would be, I would say, the whole squad pretty much decided already. And it would have been injuries that they would have had backup options more than likely in this regard. But I don't know if, like, because that's the thing, everyone's saying McKenzie, he's played himself out of it. I don't think he has. I think that he's had an off day here, but he's also had a phenomenal Super Rugby Pacific season. So I don't think anyone's played themselves out of an All Blacks jersey who was already probably going to get selected. My big question is around those loose forwards. Someone like a Karefi, someone like a Jacobson. Have they done enough in this game to book themselves an AB spot? And I'd say out of the two for this game, Karefi you'd probably give the advantage to, even though Jacobson's had a couple good moments. Another scrum reset here. And also, will never happen. Would have been great to see Canes versus Leinster. It could happen in 2028. We've got a Club World Cup that is going to be taking place. Xavier Numia, that was the perfect game for him to have before the All Blacks selection, because he was one who a lot of people were picking as their second or third loose head due to that injury of Tamaiti Williams. I think that he's well and truly booked his spot here. And Hurricanes fans are losing their minds. Says Tanas. And if Karefi doesn't make it, sack Dave Rennie. Says Haino. And now Naholo comes on. Yeah, it's a pretty big switch, isn't it? The fact that they can take Harkin off, who's been phenomenal this year, and now Kenny Naholo, been a bit of a try scoring machine. Someone had some Bluebird ready salted chips that just blew past. The ball is still on the side of the Chiefs, though, 10 metres from their own try line. Uh-oh, chance there almost in the breakdown for Karefi to get the steal. Does end up losing the footing. And we have got there, a shame the Canes don't have 10 titles with their fast style. That's going to be a knock on here from the Chiefs, though. It's just going from bad to worse, isn't it? There's not too much more you can say other than the handling's been shocking. The tactics have been wrong. The penalty count, I don't even think is that high. That's the worst thing about it. It's just the general play that they're getting wrong rather than any sort of decisions in terms of penalty. But they are just showing the Chiefs supporters, they've called it the Chiefs fan zone. I'm surprised there are still people in that fan zone at this point in time. But I don't think there's one smile in that whole fan zone at the moment. And we have it there, just need the Black Caps to create an unassailable lead. Compliment this game. My day is made, says Mark. As the Chiefs coach. I always forget his name. Jono Gibbs, I believe, is the man in charge. Now ball in for the Canes. 20 minutes remaining of this final. Here comes Hnry Stadium, gets through Carter. Pick and go from Karefi. 2 meters short. Hnry Stadium now looking to jump over the middle of the breakdown. Roigard looks left. Barrett moves it on now. Braden Yossi offload to a Safua Moore, who somehow stayed in the field of play with about 3 or 4 Chiefs trying to push him into touch. And Roigard again goes back across to Isaiah Walker-Leawiti. And Roigard across there to Love. Proctor tries the quick pass, but it's taken by Liam Coombs-Fabling. Becomes a foot race now, and look who's leading it. Peter Larkai is the man who manages to beat the fresh Josh Jacob for pace. That just shows the intensity and also the acceleration off the mark for Larkai, who's already played 61 minutes of hard minutes. Jacob's played 5. He manages to get there first. As a Slaughterfest, there's always Jason Storms. Larkai just burnt off a fullback. Yeah, a fullback and also a replacement back. So, what do you do in that scenario? And come on, not the O. Says a flying monster there. Take him back. What does Nick Berry mean, take him back? They're 35 metres out from their own line, the Hurricanes. Awkward one bounces off the face of Leroy Carter. And now ball back in the hands of the Hurricanes. An accidental offside against the Chiefs too. Lovers having a blinder. And they've taken the quick tap. Roigard. They are looking to push the tempo even more throughout this game. Shields with the skip pass. Out to Braden Yossi. Trying to get rid of Liam Coombs-Fabling. Morby just runs out of space on the short side. Keeps the ball alive. Proctor. Goodbye Fee now. Now Love. Moves it across to the left-hand side. Barrett's running sideways, but he's found a line break too. Geordie Barrett, he's got Boomfar behind him. Passes off to Roigard. Another offload for the Hurricanes. Drop ball from Isaiah Walker-Leawiti, but it went backwards. Offload to Karefi. This is going to be a brilliant team try if they can finish it off. Braden Yossi near the sideline. Offload to Shields, who just gets bundled into touch. But almost from about halfway, it was initially that Barrett was running backwards. Liam Coombs-Fabling has resulted to trying to milk a penalty for a player being within 5 meters who wasn't actually looking at him. The desperation of being down by almost a half century. Right, and it sounds like Nick Berry is going to have a bit of a warning to both sides now. I love the Hurricanes, but Chiefs WTF says just a lady. Yeah, some brilliant offloading coming from the Hurricanes. And then Yossi went to Shields and then just couldn't quite do it. Alan Boshier makes his way on. That is for Simon Parker, who I don't think's been too bad throughout this game either. Wild Canes with me. Says Coast. Now line out throw nicely taken by McAllister. Across Xavier Rowe to the right-hand side again, and a penalty awarded to the Chiefs for the high shot. What cricket score? I think most opening partnerships would be happy to have this in a game of cricket. 48 for none. But they have to try and get something here, the Chiefs, just to make the scoreline look a little bit better. And of course, it's still not going to look great, but it would be better than 0. Meters made 505. Clean breaks 21 to the 4 that we have seen. So been pretty one-sided in that department. They've had almost an extra 50 carries. Cam Roigard will make his way off the field. A round of applause from the crowd for what he's been able to do, firing them up as well. Ronnie McAllister, not straight line out, but nicely taken by Finau in the end. Oh, and he might have injured himself. It looks like he may have been slapped in the face. Hey, Hamish says, Wayne, welcome in. Hurricanes again looking for the steal there with Peter Larkai, but not quite able to get it. Rowe moves it across to Damian McKenzie now. It was bad for Union. Says relaxing Kiwi. Yeah, it's not ideal. We've had 2 one-sided finals at the moment in terms of the URC and also the Super Rugby comp. Now we have got there plus 51.5 for the, I assume that's for the Hurricanes, right? Ball still there for the Chiefs. Past The 60-minute mark, Jacob went for a kick in behind. No one was chasing, so it was just gifting the ball straight back to the Hurricanes. Now Hnry Stadium, he tries to run over the top of Ryan Paul. Whoever there scoring 0 in the final was saying you didn't deserve to be there. Says Jason. Well, that's the thing. Like I said, they went from their best game last week to their worst game here. That game last week up against the Crusaders was absolutely phenomenal. Jordie Barrett's injured here, ladies and gentlemen. He got hit with a bit of a late shot from one of the Chiefs players who was also down. But this is a massive concern now for the All Blacks. And they're saying about Dave Rennie being in the crowd. That ball has found touch, but I think they're going to check this one. I want to say it was Summer Penny Finau, so it straight away wasn't going to be the smartest collision anyway. But it looks like he may have hopefully just winded Jordie Barrett. So the pass went away. Yeah, bit of a shot to the ribs late on Jordie Barrett. Finau decided, well, if we can't win the game, we'll win the collision. I want to absolutely disgrace his relaxing Kiwi. And also, Kane smoked the Chiefs. Says Emmy, who's on for Kane. Cam Hnry is out there. And Josh Morby shortly in the AB says JP. Looks like Finau might have almost knocked himself out on Jordie Barrett's hip here. Because he looks like he's going to be making his way off the field for an HIA. Tackling Jordie Barrett would be pretty bruising, eh? Get up, Jordie. That's why Summer Penny got to the slip. Says Adam. Just seeing it now in real time. I said timing was good. It was probably about half a second away from not being good. Yeah, so he's going off for an HIA. Now ready for the line out, Brodie McAllister. Xavier Rowe moving all the way to the right. McKenzie onto Tupaia. And we need Jordie. Says Nazi. And please, Dave, make All Blacks, or all Hurricanes All Blacks, says John. Now McKenzie looking to break the line, passes off to Boshier. Parker actually comes back out there onto the field. Oh, nice bump off from Leroy Carter to get rid of Naholo. But again, the offload on the inside, straight back to the Hurricanes. There's been, I would say, at least 5 times, if not more, throughout this game where a mistake like that has happened. Now Peter Lakai showing his pace off the mark. He might be able to outspeed everyone there, but no, just caught by Ryan Paul. Now Zaya Walker, Leo Witty, short side for the Canes, out to Love with a big finish. The Superman dive over the top, NRL style, with the finish there in the half century is up for the Hurricanes. They'll probably still check it though, I would think. The third of the season for Ruben Love is second of the night, but the line break from Peter Lakai managed to get through the gap between the two replacement props. Jacob did well. Wasn't actually Ryan Paul, but got back there to make the tackle. And the Chiefs should have stayed in the shed. And will this send Waikato kids into the arms of local soccer clubs? Probably not. I think that it's one of those ones that, and it's going to sound terrible to say, but they've felt this feeling a few times over the last few years. This one's going to hurt a bit more, though, because of the scoreline. And it's a finish and a half from Ruben Love in the corner. A double in the final. Jordie's underestimated to a certain extent. Yeah, he's had a phenomenal game here. That one's bounced off the post. So a missed kick for Ruben Love, but the score now 53-0 in favour of the Hurricanes. A great flopper final and injury in AB. The Chiefs just making issues everywhere, says Campen. Now we have got the Love won't see top wingers finish any better than that. And also Ruben Love says Oswald. But you can see the celebrations now on the sideline. 12 and a half minutes remaining. Wait, what is Jordie injured? It looks like he's all right now, but it was the shot to his ribs. Oh, beautifully taken off the kickoff from Naitoa Akui. To release by Nick Berry. The game's pretty much slaughtered the Chiefs. And the crowd are putting the Chiefs off. It's a new one. I haven't heard that used as an excuse before of saying that the crowd are distracting the players. I think the 62 kilometres of wind's probably the better shout, but then at the same time, these two sides both playing with that wind. 53-0 at the moment, the way that it sits. Love is loving the love from his Canes brother. Says Gus down. And Jacobson. Karifi again, always looking for the chance to steal it. While the Chiefs hammered, or the Canes hammered the Chiefs. And where did the Chiefs go wrong? There's been quite a bit now. Big break and run for Leroy Carter. 10 metres out from the line. Morby looking for the steal. The elbows just went down in the end. You can see the relentlessness, though. Every breakdown looking for the steal, and they managed to get it now. The Hurricanes, Hnry back to Proctor. Looks like he's going to try and run it out. Fends off one. Has Naholo with him. Skip pass out to Morby. Him and Whinianofo are still in the battle for who can get that number one spot for tries in the season. They both have 17, so they're both sharing it at this point in time. It's going to be the biggest score in Super Rugby final ever, do you think, Amish? Well, currently, they needed to win by 44 points or more for it to be the most one-sided. And at this stage, they're winning by 53. Last time we had the one-sided one to that extent was Bulls versus Blues. Bulls versus Chiefs back in 2009. Kenny Naholo down the wing. Tackled by Leroy Carter again. And they'll go back for the penalty. I call the Hurricanes All Blacks, says John. And also love is going to be the new team for the All Blacks, says Harley. Late hit on 10 from Luke Jacobson. And promoting all right away with the Furies, says Dark. Yeah, they are just showing their biggest win in a final, plus 53. Is the way that it currently looks. Even if the Chiefs were to score or try and convert, they would still be the highest. No team has ever been held scoreless in a Super Rugby final, no matter who they are. So there's all sorts of history being made for all the wrong reasons for this Chiefs side. I know jitters here for Jacobson. And Chiefs are blown away from the Hurricanes. 10 minutes now remaining on the clock. Are they finished scoring here, the Hurricanes, or is this game still going to have a little bit more drama in the last 10? Geordie Barrett. Ruben Love that time. Geordie Barrett did go off the field due to that shot to the ribs. Now Tyrell Lomax running at Bosch here. Chiefs can come back. And can Naholo make the All Blacks? Theoretically, although I just don't think he's had enough game time as of yet. Plus, I think that Fihi and Josh Morby, if you're looking at Kane's wingers, they're probably going to be the two that get that nod first. Balls come off a Hurricanes player. Does go into touch. And the Chiefs need a consolation try. So yeah, it's adamant hard to believe the Chiefs had the possession for 10 minutes in the first half. Yeah, 10 straight minutes they had that ball. And they just weren't able to do a whole lot with it. Unfortunately. One second, we'll go like this. And we'll go like that. There we go. And now, Peter Larkite. He's had quite the 80 minutes out there on the field. I feel like he's definitely booked himself that spot into the All Blacks. Karefi will be an interesting one to see whether or not Rennie does select him. Although, based off what have you done for me lately type of concept, you'd say probably gets pretty close. Off to the right-hand side again. Larkite, another carry for him. I love Kimura Rehana, maybe Josh Jacob will be competing for the AB's jersey 10 in the next 5 to 8 years. I'd also love to add Cam Miller on that list as well. I feel like he is also in the equation for what he normally is able to do for the Highlanders. And Kane's power is close enough, or is in close quarters. Now going back across to the right-hand side here again. Devery moves it across and throw a like on the stream there. It says Joseph. Now Love across to Karefi, Johnny Rover. Made his way on. Lost worse than the Blues. What a horrible final series. Absolutely terrible. There's no fault. Yeah, we haven't had a game split by less than about 20 points. Now grab it in behind. Looking for a chance there to chase after it was Whinianofo. Inside ball now off to Leroy Carter. He's got Whinianofo right on him, and Hnry also throwing the body on the line. Now McKenzie across to Josh Jacob. And up the Chiefs. Up the Wires. Says Johnny Blaze. No, Taakoi. 7 minutes left on the clock. Can the Chiefs get away from being tryless in this scenario? Now McKenzie kicking that one almost a 50-22. It's a very nice strike of the ball. Ruben Love decides to take it quickly. It didn't go the 5 meters, though. And that was just throwing it straight up into the breeze. And unfortunately for him, it just ended up cutting straight back. Only travelled about the 3 meters. And the Whinianofo for the All Blacks. Let's go. And also, come on, the boys. Let's go. Summer Penny, says Adam. And also, Chiefs should have gone for the drop goal. Would you select Vegemite or Marmite? I'm more of a Marmite man. But I can understand why people like either. Do you think you shoot and tie? I was bad emoji for the Chiefs. No, I think there's much worse going on for the Chiefs than me wearing a shirt and tie for today. About 6 minutes remaining. They're close to the try line. Simon Parker, can they get one? Xavier Rowe, cross to Josh Lord. The Hurricanes, for them, the thing is, they've got the 53 points, but they would love nothing more than to keep them scoreless. Not trying to milk that penalty or Xavier Rowe, and the referee says, no, you're not doing that. The ball is still on the side of the Chiefs. Now, Boshier, cross to Tupaia. Jacobson, 5 meters out. Lakai wanted the steal. He's dragged down and almost neck rolled all out close to the line for Brodie McAllister. He was half a meter out. I think Xavier Rowe, you're looking to find a forward on this right-hand side. Now getting closer again. And also, I'm actually going to celebrate the victory with a Caramel Magnum. Probably not. I haven't had a Caramel Magnum in like a good 6 months, I think. And, I think the referee's found a grounding, so it will be the try now for the Chiefs. They will not be the first side to be kept scoreless. And it's Naitoa Akui. He's actually had a really solid showing since making his way off of the bench for this Chiefs team. I think they're just going to check it here. I think they're actually going to check to see if McAllister got a grounding first, though, because he may have all but reached out. Oh, I think they're going to give it to McAllister rather than Akui for this try, potentially. Right. Try is all clear. That's pretty cruel, but then again, you got to be cruel to be kind. Karefi and the Hurricanes boys, yes. You got the very best Hurricanes team with the heartache. And how many points can the Chiefs team score when a Chiefs team can't score points? Well, they got 5 at least at this point in time. So it's something. I know it doesn't make it that much better, right? But at least it's not 53-0 now. It's 53-5. They at least got 1. It was one of the men who made their way off of the bench. And terrible Hurricanes defense, says Anna Light. Yeah. Although you can probably let them away with it slightly, can't you? They've defended very well throughout the rest of the game. So conceding one right near the end of the contest, probably not the end of the world when you're winning by 48. That's a penalty, though, awarded to the Chiefs now in the breakdown. They got momentum now. And the most consolation try ever. See, as NZ right, they've decided to take the quick tap with Damien McKenzie again. And it'll be AB's 10 love, honestly. Sears Wafer wouldn't be a bad shout at the moment based off current form. Now Xavier Rowe, across to McKenzie. Short ball on the inside to Jacob. He slips over. So does Eri Hnry. He must have been a real slippery patch right there. Ball's out. No, never mind. They'll go back for the initial penalty advantage. I love better to be the 10. There's camping there now. Quick tap taken by Liam Coombs-Fabling. 4 minutes remaining on the clock now. Back across Quinn Tupai. No, in fact, this time it's going to be Rian Paul. Xavier Rowe. Tried to inject a little bit more tempo into this game since making his way on. Cortez Ratama. Hurricanes, well-deserved champions. The boys, or the Wellington boys, have cooked all year. Well done, the Canes. There's Johnny Blaze. Now offload. Dyer's looked at Billy Proctor and thrown the ball to him. He literally made eye contact. Went, oh, well, you're close enough to my teammate. You'll do. Which is not an ideal situation. Now Parker. Still looking for the steal, and Proctor's got it that time. It was brilliantly done. And now kicked downfield by Brad Shields. There's been a bit of kicking from the forwards in this game. We saw Isaiah Walker, Leo Witty doing one earlier. Leroy Carter, he almost sneaks through, but Fehi's had him for a majority of this game. Siali Lawakai making the tackle. Now Rowe can use the breeze straight down the throat of Josh Morby. And again, him and Fehi Whinianofo are still both sitting with 17 apiece. Morby breaking through, but he's taken down. Offload up to Johnny Rover, who goes through McKenzie. It's another one for the Hurricanes. It is counter-attacking at its finest from a stupid kick from the Chiefs that just gifted the possession back from Jacob. And the Hurricanes, you don't have to ask them twice. If you give them the ball and you give them space, they will make you pay, and they've done it again there. 58-3. 58-5 now. We have got there was the New Zealand Player of the Year on the field. He was. Quinton Pies actually had a decent game as a whole, but it's very hard to get anything going when some of your teammates are not having their best game at all. And we have got there, so the Hurricanes are going to be ripped apart next year. Says Hano. Now we have got there the Hurricanes winning because they share the workload and let the ball down the works. Says John. And the thing is, right, that's actually something in past seasons the Hurricanes have been quite critiqued about. There was it last year or the year before, how their players had a very selfish mindset in terms of some of the breaks. There was one game that we watched, I think it was a playoff game. They could have scored multiple tries, but all of their players wanted to score the tries themselves. So the passing just wasn't on point. And this year has been a perfect example of if you're not the man scoring the tries, you're setting them up. And then eventually it comes around and you get the try anyway. So they've gone very much so team mindset. And I think Clark Laidlaw, he's been a big reason for that, the way that they have played. But the score now 60 points to 5 with 1 minute remaining on the clock. Hometown advantage is definite encourager, says Tarnas. Well, the crowd has been phenomenal throughout this game. We've heard them all throughout it. Short ball attempted by Ruben Love, left alone by Karefi, but then picked up by Shields. And what a team this Hurricanes unit is. Now Proctor, wide ball on the outside to Kenny Nahola. They're in space again now, the Hurricanes. Looking for the offload. Jacob takes it. Goes for the grubber in behind. Nicely picked up. He is almost tackled by Love, who does get bumped off again. I still believe the Highlanders would have taken apart the Hurricanes tonight if they were in the final. Says Jason. Now currently 20 seconds remaining now. And the ball is out again. It's going to be knocked on by Xavier Rowe. 12 seconds remain in the Hurricanes. They will just go for one or two phases here. And then they'll boot this ball out. No point risking any injuries at this stage. 3 seconds left. Iritara Hnry told to use it. They across to Duplessis Karefi. That's a tackle off the ball on Brad Shields by Josh Law, but I think both sides have lost interest now. Iritara Hnry. Hang on. The time is now up. The siren sounds. The clock was a little bit too fast. Iritara Hnry. He will get this ball. He will put it in the pocket. Give it to Ruben Love, who dropped it forward at the end. He tried to kick it into touch, but he did have a handling error, so it's over anyway. And the Hurricanes win Super Rugby Pacific for 2026 in the most one-sided final historically that we have seen by an additional about 9 points. They have made a statement, finished number one in the standings, home field, in front of their crowd, sold-out stadium, and they have done it in style here up against a Chiefs side that just never seemed to get out of their first gear. And 65, nobody saw that coming. How's the win second half? I lived in Willies for years. About 62 kilometers. So it was pretty rough first half. I think second half, maybe it died down a little bit, but there was still definitely that win factor that was happening throughout the contest. Destroyed has been up there. And also great work, the Hurricanes. And there too. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this contest. That is the end of Super Rugby Pacific for 2026 as well. We've got about an hour before our next live stream does start up. That is going to be Zimbabwe versus South Africa A. Following that, there is the game between South Africa and the Barbarians. So, of course, be sure to stick around for that one too. But yeah, thank you all very much for watching. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Before we go, though, we better go through the try scorers list in this matchup as well as a few of the stats. It was a thoroughly impressive performance from this Hurricane side. Hardly put a foot wrong throughout the 80 minutes. Awesome work, game. Thanks, mate. Says Jerome. No worries at all. And it wasn't the wind, it was jet lag. Says Xander. And the game ended. The game is over here. 60 points to 5. The way that this match ended. But 9 tries to 1 in this contest. We saw the tries from Johnny Rover most recently. Before then, Ruben Love, who actually got himself 2 tries throughout the game. Geordie Barrett, Devin Flanders, Josh Morby, Callum Harkin, Fehi Finianofo, Ruben Love again, and then Josh Morby. He scored the first. So the double for Morby, the double for Love. Morby and Fehi Finianofo make history in terms of being the most tries scored throughout a season. Both having 17 ahead of Ben Lamb's record. Just a 1 try for the Chiefs. and that was the late one from Naitoa Akoi. It broke the 0, which was good because at the end of the day, they showed a stat that said no side has ever been scoreless in a final in Super Rugby's history. And shot, bro. This was the 4th Chiefs final ever I've watched with you. To be honest, I'm sick of this stuff. I'm losing all the time. Maybe I should only support the Wars. Says Johnny Blaze. And also congrats to the Canes. See you guys next year. Says Subramani. And their turn. I should also mention All Black squad being announced on Monday. We will more than likely have the live stream for that around lunchtime. So if you're excited to see who makes it in, how many players from this game for the Hurricanes maybe did just enough to book themselves that chance, we'll have to wait and see. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for watching. Next live stream, like I mentioned, in about 45 minutes' time. So I will see you all for the next one.